So good afternoon and welcome to session 8 of the Glasgow 2019 International Swim Meet. There you go, just mixed up a bit there. 2019 Glasgow International Swim Meet. I am Stuart Johnston. I am joined by Tom Scally. How are you, Tom?
I'm very good, Stuart. The end is near. We can see the finish line now.
Clearly it's showing in my tiredness there where I blurted my way through what meet we're actually at here. But yeah, we saw some excellent swimming this morning. Obviously we are going to see those junior swimmers coming up this afternoon. So anybody you've picked out from that, Tom?
Yeah, so again, it's the same events in the afternoon. We try and pick out some of the junior ones. We've got athletes as young as 13 today, and they're actually competing in. We've got Lauren Mew competing in the 1500 freestyle at 13 years old, so it'll be really interesting to see how she can do that as such a youngster. We've also got in the men's 800, Dimitros Negres is the only swimmer who's sub 8 minutes in this afternoon session. So are people going to step up to the mark? Are they going to put a fight up against him?
Yeah, obviously we have seen some great swimming and we're hoping to see more. As you will be able to see, the pool behind us is empty, so we are almost ready to get underway. But obviously this meet wouldn't have been possible without the support of our sponsors. So a big thank you to Glasgow Audi, to Scott's Bars and Restaurants and to Dean's Pharmacy. And we will be back with live action with your commentary team of Duncan McKinnell and University of Edinburgh coach Matt Trodden just after these short adverts.
Very good afternoon to you. We're here at Tollcross International Swimming Centre for session 8 of the 9 sessions of the 2019 Glasgow International Swim Meet. We've had 7 exciting sessions so far, 2 more to go, this one and earlier this evening, so it's going to be around about a 4:30 start, half an hour earlier than before. I'm Duncan McKinnell, and joining me this afternoon in the commentary box is University of Edinburgh performance coach Matt Trodden. Good afternoon, Matt.
Hi Duncan, how's it going?
It's going very well. How's it been going for the Edinburgh team?
Great, we've just come off obviously trials and it's the start of a new cycle, so it's superb to be able to put some high quality racing in at the very start and see what we have to build on into the summer.
So what are your objectives for a meet like this? Obviously, as you said, trials were a month or so ago in this pool, and you've then got big meets to come in the summer, so this sort of in-between time, what's it all about? Really
just to sort of analyse things that we can improve on from the trials and start putting into practice some of the things, technical and race tactics, that we think will make the difference in the summer.
And it's working so far?
It seems to be going pretty well so far. I think we're all pretty happy with how the meet's going, and as I say, it's a great meet, great environment, and it creates fast racing.
Yes, it is fantastic. Second year now of the Glasgow International Swim Meet. It's been a terrific addition to the swimming calendar here in Scotland. We've got teams from Greece, from Denmark, from Ireland here, a number of swimmers from other countries, and a big entry also, particularly from the north of England, both the northeast and the northwest. So, of course, it is the last weekend of qualification in the window for the summer championships, and that I think will be certainly a feature of the times this afternoon. Some of the younger swimmers looking for places in the British Summer Championships or the Scottish or English summer meets.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as as the window comes to a close, just being able to solidify some of the performances at things like snags or regionals for the English kids. I expect to see some fast swimming and book their place for the summer.
So it is the younger swimmers mainly in the afternoon heats this afternoon, but there's plenty of space in junior finals and possibly also A and B finals to battle for as we go through here. Just run through the programme. We start with 50 butterfly. It'll always be girls and boys swimming the same events back to back. So 50 fly is up for us. Then we got 400 freestyle. Following that, 100 backstroke. After the 100 backstroke, we go to 200 breaststroke. Following that is 100 freestyle. So that is what we've got in store for you. And then we finish off with a women's 1500 free and a men's 800 free. Just one heat of each of them, and a chance for them to swim, I suppose, opposite of what they traditionally swim in Olympic events, but of course the 800 men and the women's 1500 now coming into the Olympic programme, as well as obviously being always a feature in the Worlds and the Europeans.
Yeah, absolutely. The new events that have just been added to the Olympic calendar certainly change it for a few people, and it's great to see the kids are getting an opportunity to start experiencing that in domestic meets as well.
Don't see a huge Edinburgh University entry for those distance events. We've got Harley in the men's event. Don't think of your programme as a distance swimming programme, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that would be very fair to say. And but yeah, we've got Harley in this afternoon, and maybe that's something we need to develop.
So look forward to that. If there's any distance swimmers who fancy coming to Edinburgh, Matt Trodden would love to have you there to spearhead the development of a distance programme. So first up is the women's 50 butterfly. You can see that we have the swimmers there up at the top of the pool, just about ready to go. There are going to be 7 heats in this one. The referee's whistle goes for heat number 1. A lineup of 9 swimmers: Hebe Weavers, Erin Gourley, Molly Cannon, Kira Rennie, Carla Brawley, Anna Colston, Yasmin Ali, Catherine Danes and Beth Wilson. These swimmers all 32 seconds and thereabouts. Mainly 14, 15-year-olds, a couple older than that. The oldest, Carla Brawley, the City of Glasgow swimmer, 20-year-old in the centre lanes. Hard to call a winner at this stage as they come down the pool, and that's going to be the case, I think, all the way through these 50 flies.
Yeah, splash and dash, absolutely.
Let's see who gets the touch. It is Yasmin Ali of Warrender, 31.94, so nice little improvement from Yasmin. Second place is Carla Brawley, and third, Catherine Danes. On to heat 2. Again, empty lane in lane 9, so just out of your shot. And away they go. Again in the 32s, the entry times here: Abby Tyson, Seren Williams, Evie Cuthbert, Devon Anderson, Leonie Young, Imogen Collins, Ayumi Falls, Rachel Dawson and Ailsa Kellis.
Yeah, it's another tight race here, split about right across the field. It's going to come down to skills. And
so lane 1, Seren Williams of the Borough of Stockton. The Stockton swimmers have gone well, but also Ailsa Kellis of Carnegie on the other side of the pool. Ailsa gets it, 13.94. Showed quite a lot of speed at the end of that one.
Yeah, really snuck up there on the outside, an outside smoker there. Great to see.
Yes, she's come on very well. Hasn't been in the Carnegie programme that long, and it certainly seems to be doing her some good. On to heat 3. Fast and furious, these 50s. Mari Craig, Amber Wade, Amy Ash, Katrina Stewart, Sky Mulholland, Jess Smith, Rachel McLeod, Francesca Kane, Elizabeth Pinfold and Rebecca Ogier. 31s up to a low 32s on the outside lanes in this one.
Great start there in lane 3, utilising all the underwater.
That's Katrina Stewart of Western Bartonshire. In the red cap, pushing on now though in lane 5, Jess Smith of Wigan Best.
Lane 8's going well out here on the outside as well.
Yes, that's Ilizan Pinfold from City of Oxford, and it's going to be tight. It might be Ilizan is going to get it. Good spot there, taking that one. 30.57. Would you expect, we've seen quite big improvements on entry times here. Would you expect that more in the 50s at this point in the season rather than the longer races to them to be able to get the improvements?
I guess with the 50s, it really comes down to your skills, your technique. There's not a lot of room for error, so it's great if kids are dropping. It means things are going the right way instead of starts, dives, turns.
So this is heat number 4. Sophie Huggan, Lexi Anderson, Megan Porteous, Martha Reeves, Zara Cowan, Leonie Jones, Laura Frizzell, Taylor Walker, Cara Myatt and Grace Courtney.
Fantastic start there again in lane 5 from Zara or Leon.
Zara in 4, Leonie Jones in 5. You see there the Burrows Stockton swimmer. Oh, this is really close.
Again, lane 1 out there. It's coming up strong.
That's Lexi Anderson of Dumfries. Is she going to get it? Oh, it was tight as it went to Leonie Jones in lane 5, 31.19. Laura Frizzell second, the border swimmer, and Cara Myatt from Dumfries just touching out her teammate Lexi Anderson for third. 3 more heats to go. This one we have Chloe Barron, Beth Gordon, Coco Southern, Anna de Grosser, Katie Simpson, Saskia Wade, Sophie Hall, Rosie Smith, Elspeth Roper and Adele McDade. Nice shot as they leave the blocks there.
Again, in the 50 butterfly, so much of it comes down to tactics such as when and where to take the breath, how many breaths to take. It can make all the difference in these 50s.
Pushing on nicely now in lane 3 is the border swimmer Anna de Grosser. I think she's going to take this one by maybe half a metre or so, 30.7 for her, so another improvement, about 4/10 for her on her entry time. So strong performance there. We're starting to get towards really to get a place in the junior final. We're talking about swimmers in the 29s, I think. So see if anybody in these last couple of heats can get down to that sort of territory. The lineup here in Heat 6, Maria Cabrelli, Eva Aguero, Ellie Robertson, Elle Sutherland, Iona Wilson, Holly Lumsden, Kirsty McNair, Vanrada McGregor, Katie Campbell and Olivia Damasio.
Holly's off to a great start down this first 25, but they're beginning to tighten up as they come into the last 15.
Eva Aguero in lane 1, and beside her Ellie Robertson of Midlothian, and also Elle Sutherland up there. So who gets the touch? 30.9. None of them. Iona Wilson, it is the East Lothian swimmer. Back in the day, that was your team.
That was. It's great to see them continue to develop and grow stronger under Bruce and Danny and the rest of the boys that are coaching there now.
Yeah, I hear the coaching standards have gone up hugely in the last couple of years.
Yeah, massively. They're a lot less scruffy as well.
Heat 7. Caitlin Rosie, Kate Carruthers, Louise Bradley, Jenna Gilmore, Emma Scully, Nicole Reynolds, Blythe Brown, Jory Horn, Grace Conroy and Rachel Grant. So 30.35, the fastest entry time in this final heat. We've not seen anybody go under 30 yet. I think it probably would take that. In fact, no swimmer in lane 3 in this one.
Lane 8 here looks like they could be challenging that 30 mark in this first 35 anyway.
Grace Conroy has put in some good swims over the weekend, the Sheffield swimmer, and she does look to have the advantage from the swimmers on the other side, the youngster Kate Carruthers of Hearts, but it is Conroy and does get under that 30 seconds. So I wonder whether we'll be seeing her, the 14-year-old just from City of Sheffield. So that was a nicely impressive swim, came in on an entry time of 30.6. So yeah, coach will be happy with the 9/10 improvement and probably happier with what they saw in terms of how she swam it.
Yeah, she swam a great race, fantastic start, really strong through the stroke, and then managing to get under. It's quite a significant barrier to break. It's the 30 second barrier, so it's superb that she gets it's a good result out of that.
So just running through the order there before we move on to our next event, which is the men's 50 butterfly. There's 7 heats of that as well. You were talking a little bit of just how technical these sprints are. There's a lot to pack in a short time, isn't there, in terms of the phases of the race?
Yeah, there's a lot to pack in, and there's really not very much time to correct mistakes. If you make a mistake in the dive, that's almost 25% of the race gone. So you have to really make sure you're on top of all your skills for certain in the 50s.
So the first heat of the men's 50 butterfly, Jacob Papple, Jack Milne, Charles Kelly, Matthew Garrity, Finley Wallace, Jamie Hamilton, Evan Clark, Jonathan Eborn, Harris Harley and Murray Dixon. Entry times here, 29.0, 29.2 range. Lane 1, Jack Milne, the S14 para swimmer from Dundee. Looks like he's going to take this one. 29.20 his entry time. Just waiting for a time to come up. Now it has 28.11. So very good, impressive swim there from Jack. Be pretty happy with that, I think. Of course, the para swimmers just had their big international meet here in Glasgow just a few weeks ago. And we've got another para swimmer coming up in this next heat there at the top of the start list. John Law from University of Stirling, partially sighted swimmer. Ben Montgomery will go in 1, Jay Manners in 2, Jack Wales in 3, Tom Brumwell in 4, Joshua Aspinall in 5, Cam Jeffrey in 6, Cameron Allison in 7, 8 is Benjamin Winterburn, and 9 Jamie Claxton. Just a little bit of a delay here before we get this one going, but it looks like they are ready to go now. 28.8 to 29.0 the range of times here, so they'll have to go some to match that 28.1 that we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. Off to a great start there in lane 4, I think.
That's Tom Brumwell of Chesterley Street. Also pushing on in 2, Jay Manners of Sunderland. The North East clubs up here in numbers. Ben Montgomery of Carnegie pushing on now in lane 1. I think he has the edge now. It's going to be fairly tight. Tom Brumwell not far away. Well, who got the touch? Well, it's Jamie Claxton, 28.20 from lane 9. So lane 9 first, lane 1 second. Just shows that anybody in these, with such a tight range of times, anybody can win these.
And if you've got a lane, you can get a result.
I guess that's particularly true in the sprints. Heat 3 coming up. Mark Stoops, Joe Ratuli, Max Upton, Elliot Miller, Max Hagan, Connor Massey, Cameron Leckie, Thomas Cannon, Mark Devlin and Ben Ferguson. So 28 entry times for these guys. Glaswegians in the centre lanes, Connor Massey and Max Hagan. In particular, Connor Massey in lane 5 up there. So is Joe Ratuli in lane 1, and beside him Mark Stoops. Oh, another close affair. 27.54. So again, upping the pace very nicely here. That was Connor Massey taking the win. Elliot Miller, unfortunately, is going to be a disqualification, technical infraction from him. Joe Ratuli second, Mark Stoops in third. We talked about starts a little bit. We haven't talked about finishes on 50 fly. So what is it you've really got to focus on the finish?
Yeah, you've got to be able to spot the finish and maybe 15 metres out and make small changes to your stroke so you can ensure you hit that on a full stroke. And especially in an event where hundreds can be the difference.
This is Heat 4. Rory Young, Sam Glenn, Adam Strickland, Henry Moore, James Riley, Owen Ray, Robert Wright, Ewan Gumbrell, Alex Campbell and Ben Smith. White cap in lane 2 belongs to Derwent side's Adam Strickland. I think he's just edging into a narrow lead as they come in, 27.33. Again, a big improvement on entry time. So these guys are really up for this in the fly, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll be up for it, and they'll obviously know exactly what they have to try and achieve to get those summer swims. So that'll be driving them all on, I'd imagine.
Yep, it's the Last Chance Saloon.
Yeah, absolutely.
This weekend. And they certainly seem to be taking full advantage here, going well. Ethan Jones in this one, in 0, Alex Thompson, Lewis Bailey, Graham Baird, Ross Neely, Matthew Woodall, Patrick Pushrami, David Smith, Johan Fawcett and Tiela Walters. We're looking at low 28 entry times in this heat. Again, it's a line of swimmers, as you'd expect. Maybe Patrick Pushrami, another Derwent side swimmer, going up there, lane 0, Ethan Jones of Winsford, and it is Ethan getting the touch, another from outside lane, 27.46 from Patrick Pushrami, 27.62, Matthew Woodall, 27.64. So close, these races, aren't they?
Yeah, really bunching up at the front of the field, which is great to have such depth in the competition.
Heat 6, Jack Smith, Ethan Brown, Joshua Mitchell, Jason English, Yasin O'Neill, Ollie Hall, Owen McBurney, Kerr Lumsden, Lewis Condy and Maximilian Bolcato. We are having entry times in the high 27s in this one. So they've got to try and go past 27.33. We saw from Adam Strickland a couple of heats ago.
Definitely something in the water with the guys on the outside again, looking to dominate this race, lane 9.
Maximilian Bolcato take it, 26.75. He was entered 28.01. That's a second and a quarter taken off there.
I'm sure the coach will be doing backflips down there with an improvement like that.
Well done, you're saying, why haven't you done it before? Or is that too harsh? That certainly is going to give Maximilian another swim, I think. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Perhaps have to be in the slight. I think he'll be there. Let's see. We'll hold our horses until we know for sure. On to Heat 7, the final heat of the 50 fly. Matthew Cairns, Bryce Proctor, Mark Innes, Jack Green, Tim Sverchek, Jake Kirkham, Cameron Gordon, Cameron Creaney, Miles Lapsley and Ian Rose.
Once again, lane 9 looks like they're having a great race.
What is it with lane 9? Have they got the current going down that lane or something? 26.93, another win from lane 9. Not quite as fast as the previous heat, but a pretty strong swim from Oranda's Ian Rose. 7/10 inside his entry time. Miles Lapsley second, Bryce Proctor third. Well, some very fast swimming there from the 50 fly. Do you think we'll see that sort of PB range in the 400 free that's coming up? That'll be harder, won't it?
That'll be a lot harder, obviously. A lot of these kids will be working, as they say, towards the summer meets and being some hard training. So whilst the 50s might be hard, I'm sure it'll be a little bit harder to replicate on the longer distance events, but not impossible.
Will some of them done a mini taper because it's a last chance to get a time and they'll be really focusing on the time, or is that a dangerous thing to do just with a few weeks out to those meets?
Again, I would imagine some of them will be coming off exams and they may well have had a slightly lighter schedule, in which case we might see some fast swimming, but I think the coaches will have looked at things like snags and that'll have been the main shot, and this will really just be a top-up for anyone that's just on the fringes.
So it is 400 freestyle now for the women. We've got 4 heats. And taking us off in the first heat, Daisy Poole of Wigan Best in 0, Round McGill of Hearts in 1, Leah Stark of North Ayrshire in 2, Rebecca Schulman of Warrender in 3, Rebecca Ogier of East Kilbride in 4, Isabel Wood of Stirling Swim in 5, Rebecca Keatley of Middlesbrough in 6, Elle Sutherland of South Aberdeenshire in 7, and Lewis Ross of City of Glasgow in lane 8. Entry times here 4:47 up to 4:51, 8 lengths of the pool, of course. And leading at the turn, 32 seconds dead, Isabel Wood of Stirling. Isabel, third in West Districts in this pool, 10th in national age groups. Another outside lane swimmer going very nicely is the Wigan swimmer Daisy Poole. And just alongside her, perhaps half a metre or so behind, Round McGill of Hearts. 107.57, the 100 split. What's the danger with these younger swimmers? Perhaps is to just go out a little too fast in these longer events.
Yeah, and especially on the contribution, you maybe want to try and swim a little bit more in your arms over the first 200 metres, and then really start to bring the legs in. If you overkick the legs at the start of the race, it's quite a long way to go. With the legs the whole way, but it's great to see swimmers really taking the race on from these outside lanes this afternoon.
So Daisy, there's a fair amount of leg action going on from Daisy, isn't there? She goes through in 1:43.92, nearly a second up on the others. So is that a lead beat that she can sustain?
We'll find out, but she definitely looks very comfortable here, and she's holding a really nice stroke tempo here, which is another thing, especially these younger swimmers will look to try and develop and learn where their optimal sits as they progress towards the senior ranks.
And she does look very comfortable coming to the halfway mark. She's stretched that lead out to a body length now, to 20.90.
It's great to see some good discipline as well with these girls, not breathing in that last stroke into the turn, and really trying to make the most out of these skill elements so they can get set up for the next length.
So we talked about maybe the lack of a distance program in Edinburgh University, but you've certainly got some very strong middle distance freestylers on, Catherine Greenslade perhaps in particular. So when she's training for this, what are the things that you focus on in terms of her race technique and tactics?
Yeah, we sort of, both Catherine and Monique Olivier, the Luxembourg swimmer, both swim the 400, and we spend a lot of time trying to replicate the race, and really, as we go through a cycle, shorten up that rest so they can practice more and more under fatigue the sort of race tactics and experiences that they feel.
And is that about maintaining the skills when you're tired and under pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. When they're tired, under pressure, and then also to get a real good race feeling.
So Daisy still holds the advantage, 100 to go, 3:35.13. Pace has slipped a little bit. That was around 1:14 from a 1:13, so maybe dropped about a second in that third 100. Would that be a concern for you, or is it what you'd expect almost, that the pace drops in that third 100 and then pick up again in the final 100?
Yeah, we'd expect probably to really kick on in that final 100, but I guess it'll depend on sort of what tactics she set out with her coach beforehand. There's several different ways that are pretty successful at swimming the 400.
Daisy Poole coming under some pressure now, and that swimmer that you just saw going through the turn. Well, those swimmers in the centre lanes are certainly giving it a go, led by Rebecca Keatley of Middlesbrough. We'll see whether they can catch Daisy.
Yeah, Rebecca's keeping great stroke length here, fantastic long stroke.
So this is going to be a northwest, northeast of England battle. Daisy Poole, who is led throughout. Can she hang on here? This is going to be so tight at the end. Oh, Rebecca got it. 4:48.24 by 9 hundredths from Daisy Poole. 4:48.33. I don't think Daisy will be too upset about that because she improved from a 4:51, so that's nice progression from her. Third place, Isabel Wood, 4:48.88, just 400ths ahead of Rebecca Ogier. And I guess that did illustrate there the different tactics from Daisy and Rebecca. Rebecca coming in very strong in that last 100, and perhaps Daisy just having to hang on a bit and to the hard work that she'd done, particularly in the first half of the race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, that was well planned and executed by Rebecca, but I think a great job by Daisy taking the race on and showing no fear from that outside lane as well. So fantastic to see both really going for it.
On to Heat 2 then. They're underway. It looks like we've got an empty lane in lane 3. So the lineup is Jasmine Campbell of Newcastle in 0, Megan Ruddy of East Kilbride in 1, Kiana Bellotti of Warrender in 2, Ella Stevenson of Bells Hill in 4, Lucy Robertson of Hearts in 5, Amy Shields of Mulgai and Bearsden in 6, Jo Hobsley of Barnet Copthall in 7, Alana MacDonald of Borough of Stockton in 8, and Eve Tierney of First in lane 9. So we're going to see normal service resume with lane 4. I'm not sure we've seen a win from lane 4 yet.
Not yet, but this might buck the trend. Again, quite clearly, several different swimmers are going out with different tactics here. Looks like the Mulgai and Bearsden swimmer's going to turn first.
Yep, Amy Shields. The Shields girls mainly think of them as backstrokers, but Amy Shields off to a good start here in the freestyle. 4:44 entry time for her.
So a North of England battle here. We're seeing very much a Glasgow battle with Bells Hill and Mulgai and Bearsden here at the front of the race so far.
Yes, also not that far away though is a northeast influence with Alana MacDonald from the Borough of Stockton. Through the turns, it is Amy Shields though. Alice Stevenson and Alana MacDonald pretty much together at the 150. As you see them come back down the pool, Amy's holding that advantage pretty nicely. Megan Ruddy doing pretty well over in lane 1 as well.
Yeah, you can see Amy here just very well balanced out and her swimming on her arms just now, and we'd expect she'll maybe bring that kick in over this next 200 metres.
Yes, certainly looks to be a contrast in what she's doing with her legs compared with what we saw from Daisy in the first heat.
Yeah.
To 19:31 at halfway. An advantage of just over a second, nearly a second and a half for Amy now. So looking pretty comfortable here as we see it. I was going to say bird's eye view, but that's not quite right. That's a worm's view from the side of the pool.
And again, up on the outside now, the swimmer from East Kilbride obviously coming through in the second half.
Yeah, she's right up in the mix for second now. In fact, she has second behind Amy Shields. 2.5 seconds the gap now between Amy and that trio of swimmers.
And she's really beginning to close things down. Obviously, so they've got some great tactics off Andy, they've had some great success over recent years in some of the middle distance and distance events.
So Amy Shields then will be looking now to lock this one in the final 100. 3:31.75. She's pacing pretty consistently, so that's 112.4, 112.3 in the previous 100. So we're looking in the low 440s here. Amy's entry time 4:44.80. I think she's got a great chance to go inside that. Can you tell anything from what you see as she turns to breathe there? Not really, can you?
Not really, but yeah, we hope that she bring her legs in here in this last length, and hopefully that'll take her under her entry time.
4:07.12 then she turns for the final, and just a wee flutter there, so it's she's starting to go a bit more, isn't she? But it's still sort of intermittent.
Yeah, and Jo here is having a cracking second half of the race as well. really coming through to challenge for that second place.
Yeah, she's had a good weekend up from Barnet and had a series of good races, but well, hats off to Amy Shields. She took it strongly at the front and is not going to be denied here. Let's see what the time is. 4:42.83, so a 2-second improvement for her in second spot. 4:44.67 for Megan Ruddy and Joe Hobsley for 46.29. That's your 1, 2, 3. Up on the screen with all the full result. So nicely done there from Amy, consistently through and then just going to her legs in that final 50. Is that the right time to start going to legs, or would
I guess she'll
depends on your strength?
spoke with Adam, our coach, but yeah, you know, you want to make sure you've got something left at the end of the race, so you can really build in and finish strong.
On to heat 3. Anna Williamson goes for Ren 96 in 0. Coco Soughton, Borough of Stockton in 1. Millie Milne of Warrender in 2. In fact, no swimmer in 1. Gabriella Lessing of Ren 96 is in 3. Eve Mayer, South Ayrshire in 4. Ria Colbridge of Midlothian in 5. Blair Hughes of City of Glasgow in 6. Ailish Segal of East Lothian in 7. And Amy Harkness of Dumfries in lane number 8. This is a rarity, an all Scottish heat here.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great start from the girl from Midlothian here.
Yes, that's Ria Colbridge setting the pace early on. Ria picked up bronze medal recently in the East District Open at the Commonwealth Pool. Her time comes from last summer in the Scottish Summer Meet, 4:39, so she'll be certainly looking to take that on this season, whether it's here or whether it's in the summer. 107.39 is a little slower than Amy Shields' split from the last heat.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what we'll have to look at is you know, what the drop off is here. If she swims it a little bit tighter, you know, we might see her hold on to that.
So on a 107 first 100, what would you be looking for the second 100?
I'd be hoping it would be in around that 109 mark. You know, I think once you start to drop time, it's very hard to get that back unless that's part of your overall goal and race strategy.
So 143 at the 150, so that was what, about a 36, just under a 36. So that would suggest maybe sort of 111 sort of pace for her second 100. We'll get a feel for that shortly. Millie Milne is a pretty promising youngster from Warrender, 14-year-old. And she is looking pretty strong here now, coming up with Ria as they come to halfway.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure she'll have got some coaches, tips off the coaches, Laurel and Costas, and going into this.
So we do have the 16-year-old versus the 14-year-old. Then it's Segal of East Lothian, followed by Gabriella Lessing in lane 3. Swimmers seem mainly to be breathing to one side. In this stage, Ria obviously has swimmers challenging her on both sides. Is that an issue that she can only keep an eye on one of them if she doesn't breathe bilaterally, or just or she can get to see one of them and one length and the other one on the next, and it's okay?
Yeah, you just ping pong, but yeah, it's obviously personal preference. What you breathe, you do lose a little bit sight of the race if you only breathe to one side. But again, part of it is all about keeping your rhythm, and if that allows you to keep the rhythm, then
is that more important then? 3:32.95, and it is Millie Milne now who's taken the lead on, and Gabrielle Lessing has had a strong third 100 as well in the black cap there, just behind Millie. Ailish Segal pushing on as well.
Millie's really cracked on there. I just clocked at the way down on the last length. She was lifting her head up, so I'm not sure if she knew exactly how many lengths we were on, but she's really kicked on again on this third. Last 100.
4:07.28 with 50 to go. She's got the lead up to nearly 2 seconds now. The race is about third, Eilish and Ria. So the early leaders have faded quite a lot in the latter stages here, but certainly Millie Milne hasn't. And seen this quite a bit from the Warrender swimmers. They've been pretty steady in the first half and really turned it on in the second.
Just clocking Dale, obviously maybe our coach that he's working with, he looks very excited down in poolside. But yeah, great race strategy. I think rewarded with the best time now, maybe.
4:40.06, yes, entered on 4:41.3, so second and a quarter or so inside that. Second place, Gabriella Lessing, 4:44.09, and there's just 100th between Eilish Segal and Ria Colbridge for third. Eilish just nicking it. But yes, have seen that quite a bit from the Warrender crew, that they very much seem to be focusing on the back end, and I guess that's an intelligent way to swim a 400, you would think.
Yeah, a great way to swim, and obviously the pedigree of Warrender, they'll have learnt a lot from the time at Kerry Ann Payne, and some of, one of Britain's best middle distance and long distance freestylers was in the programme. To have a learning opportunity like that, probably shows through for the future.
So the finish order just confirmed there as we have a look at the Barnet swimmer Sophie Murray, who's just about ready to go in lane 6 in this final heat. There's the lineup for heat 4. Alicia Bain, Lauren Mew, Jenna Cole, Izzy Winter, Elle McMillan, Ellie Hamilton, Sophie Murray, Grace Conroy, Emma Scully and Catherine Bailey. So just looking at the times here, didn't have too many juniors going, so there's definitely places up for grabs. Anything in the low 440s you think would guarantee an extra swim. So Millie Milne, you would expect from that last heat, will be swimming again tonight, because that's another challenge for these younger swimmers. It can't be too often that they'll swim a 400 twice in a day.
No, a lot of meets, especially with time constraints, will look to do heat declared winners in some of the middle distance events. So yeah, again, this is invaluable experience for someone to come and be able to learn some of the processes they're going to have to go through as they get a little bit older and have to do the double swimming within a day.
And how much of an issue is that, particularly if you're swimming in the afternoon, in the evening, with less recovery time?
Yeah, there's not much recovery time, but again, these guys are young and very well trained, so and full of enthusiasm as well, so it doesn't ever seem to cause them any problems.
So a really fast start there at the front of this race. 1:05.03, Catherine Bailey in lane 9. Let's go in lane 9 again. Grace Conroy of City of Sheffield in 7. So they're really taking it out, don't they, at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess Catherine has the luxury of seeing a great 400 freestyler in her programme every day in Stephen Milne, so maybe she's picked up a few tips from him.
I'm sure she will have done, because it's not a huge programme, so to have a superstar like Stephen swimming with you is a rare treat that most age group swimmers would die for.
Absolutely, it's not every day you can have an Olympic medalist such as Stephen and world medalist in the lanes next year, and it's great that these kids are able to see that and see what can happen if a bit of hard work and dedication.
Catherine has been very impressive. Freestyle and butterfly this weekend, really coming on to some good times, and certainly so far it looks like this is going to be another one. There you see the mass of swimmers behind her turning. Catherine 2:14.21. That's much faster than we've seen in the previous heat. And you were looking for 109. She's just got a 109 split there.
Absolutely, and it doesn't look like, it looks like she's only going to build off this now. Keeping a really nice tempo, a nice balanced kick, and she's really taking this race on.
Yes, it'd be interesting to see whether Grace Conroy, who's had a pretty nifty meet herself over this weekend, to think this is her second swim from memory. I think we saw her in the fly. Just check on that. She is certainly looking good. Yes, I'm not wrong. She did a 29.7, winning the final heat of the 50 fly.
You can just see in the bottom of the picture there, Anne giving Catherine a wee wave on. So she really has taken this race on, and it's split the field massively here.
I often wonder sometimes when the coaches do this signalling from the side of the pool, whether that's for the coach's benefit or the swimmer's benefit. How aware is the swimmer of the coach on the side of the pool?
I'm not 100% sure that they're ever aware, but it certainly makes the coach's stress levels go down a wee bit, I think.
Yep. Now certainly, I think Anne Dixon, the Perth City coach, will be pretty happy with what she's seeing at the moment. It looks like that's one of her teammates also giving her the encouragement. Because if you are in lane 9, you will probably hear the shouts from the side of the pool, so that's another encouragement. This is just a fantastic swim from Catherine.
Yeah, really, really good. Again, great skills there. I know that's something they pride themselves on at Perth. Not breathing into the wall, and then 4 or 5 really good kicks off the wall.
So Catherine entered 4:39. I think we could be under 4:35 here for her. There's a good race for second going on. Lane 3, Izzy Winter and Grace Conroy in lane 7. That is going to be a tight one. Just behind them, Sophie Murray of Barnet. But, well, it's been Catherine Bailey from start to finish. Let's just see what the time is. See this time on the clock at the bottom of your screen, under the 4:35. 4:34.39. We'll definitely be seeing Catherine swimming again tonight. Do you think she can replicate that? That's going to be hard to do, isn't it? To replicate a superb swim like that. Step change in what she swam. She's going to be pretty much at the top of the tree, I think, in the junior final.
Yeah.
So she'll have a good lane. Oh, in fact, yes. So looking at it, she's going to be in the A final, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that just really shows you what's possible on this afternoon. That you can come in and get yourself right into the big race tonight. So I'm sure Anne will just be looking at to see if they can replicate that. And again, that's cracking experience to go from the afternoon heats into the big final tonight.
I'm not sure we've seen that this weekend, so that is absolutely superb from Catherine. Good spot, Mr. Trodden. I'm impressed that you were on the ball there. Keep me right. So brilliant stuff there. Very well done, Catherine Bailey, and of course the others as well, just behind her, Grace Conroy and Izzy Winter. Both putting in solid swims from that heat, faster than the previous heats. So on to the men now. We've got 5 heats for the men. 7 go in heat 1. Duncan Young of South Ayrshire in lane 1. Jude Ralston of Ren 96 in 2. Scott Muirden of Hearts in 3. Lewis Thompson of Midlothian in 4. Gregor Young of First in 5. Archie Sorensen of Warrender in 6. And Cam Jeffrey of City of Manchester in lane 7. Finish times here in the 4:33 to 4:35 range. Looking at the ages, range of 14, the youngest Duncan Young, up to 17, Scott Muirden.
And obviously for a lot of these young boys in Scotland over the last 10 to 12 years, we've had some great middle distance freestylers, Stephen Milne, Robbie Rennick, just to name a few. So it's been some great learning experience and opportunities to see some of the best in the world and how they do it, and whether they can step up and take that mantle on someday.
Yeah, we'll be looking for people to take on that role with those string of medals that we've had in the 4x200 at Commonwealth Games. Plus we have a number of strong swimmers still active in the sport. Stephen Mill, of course, who we've been talking about, but also there's the likes of Craig McLean up there and Mark Sharanek. So I think we have every prospect of still being strong in Birmingham in 2022.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure there's a few names that will be coming to the party as well. But it's great that Mark's now back in Scotland, and that only further strengthens the depth and great racing opportunities we have domestically.
Yeah, also in that programme, Scott McClay, who we saw this morning, looking pretty strong in the 100 free. So you certainly would think would be in that mix for the 2 as well. But there's a good race developing here early on in the centre lanes. Lewis Thompson in lane 4 in the green cap, and beside him Gregor Young of first in the blue.
You think that these boys might be aware of how they might race, and they've no doubt raced each other at things like districts before.
Up there with them is Archie Sorensen of Warrender, and then over in lane 2 Jude Ralston of Round 96. So 2 from the West District, Wren and First, and 2 from the East, Midlothian and Warrender in this top mix. And still it is Lewis and Gregor just a 10th apart. But they'll be aware of the other 2 as well. And it looks like maybe Jude Ralston is getting the bit between his teeth a bit in lane 2. The Wren athlete.
Yeah, it's always sometimes the case that when there's an empty lane, you can sort of sneak up maybe without so many people seeing where you are. And he's definitely putting a bit of a kick on here.
So 100 to go, and it is Ralston and Thompson now. Still Lewis Thompson just with the edge, 3:24.82. So that was about 110.6 for his third 100. So it dropped off maybe by about half a second between the second and the third 100. It's another 110 will bring him in 4:34 into 4:33. So with a sprint, he can threaten that time perhaps, and it certainly looks to be putting that sprint in. Suddenly he is more than a body length clear.
Yeah, that last 50 there, he really began to up his tempo, and I would expect he'll go to his legs here.
Colin Barton at the Midlothian programme is producing some decent swimmers at the moment, and he'll be looking, but he's not absolutely clear yet because Jude Ralston was a bit later going up the speed, but he's really going at it now, and maybe because he left it a bit later he's able to go a little bit faster.
And also Cam Jeffrey here from Manchester really coming up strong in the last 10.
But, well, he had to work for it, but Lewis Thompson held his leading spot and taking it 4:33.57, just outside his entry time by half a second, but a good solid swim, and there'll be lots, I think, of cementing skills there. Jude Ralston 4:34.08, and Cam Jeffrey, as you said, coming up very strongly. Didn't talk about him at all in commentary, and then suddenly he was third.
Obviously tactics to really come back pretty strong there, and he really brought it home there. Just obviously ran out of pool.
So that's the lineup for heat number 2. And they're under the starters' control. Cameron McMaster goes for Dundee City Aquatics in 0. Matthew Hunt of Chesterley Street in 1. Then 2 Warrender boys, Finley Scott in 2. Alex Thompson in 3. Then we have Andrew Sutherland of North Ayrshire. Cian McNellis is in lane 5 for Inverclyde. James Kay of Barnet Copthall in 6. Luke Porteous of East Lothian in 7. His teammate Luke Hornsey in lane 8. And Stuart Andrews of Round 96 goes in lane 9. 28.91, the split for Andrew Sutherland in lane 4. It's like a nice easy stroke, not too fast stroke rate there, but it's obviously got quite a lot of power in it.
Yeah, 28 points, quite fast out, so these boys, if they manage to hold on to that, should definitely be looking at getting under their 4:27 entries.
So the advantages with Andrew from Stuart Andrews, another Wren swimmer in the mix here. 1:01.74 is about nearly 2.5 seconds faster than the previous heat. Lewis Thompson's 100 split, which Do you worry that they're taking it out too fast, or do you think they can hold this?
Yeah, I mean 28 point is quite fast out, so it'll be interesting to see if it's able to hold on. But I guess Andrew will have had a good chat with Jess beforehand, and maybe that's the race tactic. But certainly, it's a very strong first 50.
Last, just down to half a second his lead now over Stuart Andrews. Then we've got one of the two Warrender swimmers, Alex Thompson, into second place. But certainly at the moment, it's Andrew Sutherland, Stuart Andrews being in charge between the two of them, 2:10.10 and 2:10.40.
Again, Andrew maybe looks like he's gone out a little bit too fast. He's taken a couple of double breaths there, obviously trying to get some oxygen back in, but he's still managing just to hold on.
So perhaps just a little over-excitable at the beginning. I guess that is a challenge for coaches sometimes, just to calm their swimmers down as they prepare for a race where they're hopeful of really doing something big.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is quite easy to sometimes misjudge your pacing, especially if you feel good and excited about the race. And again, it's just a learning curve for these athletes to find out what's best for them. And no doubt they'll trial several different strategies over the months and years that they're developing from age and youth.
Yeah, I'm interested in Alex Thompson here in lane 3. We saw that superb back-ended swim from Millie Milne of Warrender in the girls 400. I'm wondering if we're going to see something fairly similar from Alex here. He's into second place, just behind Stuart Andrews, who's now taken on the lead.
Yeah, it might just be whether you can see Stuart out here on the outside and whether he's aware.
James Kay is also one to be reckoned with in the yellow cap of Barnet. He's coming up very strongly in the second half. We saw that from another Barnet swimmer before as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, they seem to have a real strong back end, and it's going to be a great race down here in the last 50.
So they turn 3:53.44 for Stuart, 3:53.63 for Alex, 3:53.74 for James. It's these three now, but it looks like it's Alex Thompson in lane 3 who's perhaps got the edge.
Yeah, they've all gone to their legs, but it looks like the Warrender swimmer might just have what it takes to get the hand on the wall first here, although the Wren swimmer coming back strong again.
Yes, and James Kay from Barnet, but well, I think Alex should take this one, and it was pretty tight at the end, but he did. 4:26.09 against 4:26.21 for Stuart Andrews and 4:27.10 for James Kay.
It's great again to see so many athletes swimming times quicker than their entry times.
Yes, Alex, a couple of seconds faster than his entry time there. So I suppose similar-ish tactics there from, well, particularly Alex Thompson and James Kay. Pretty steady in the first half and pushing it on in the second. Stuart Andrews probably slightly different tactic there, as it was certainly much more in contention at the front there and was there or thereabouts all the way through, just not quite able to get it at the touch at the end.
Yeah, sometimes in the middle distance races, not necessarily about who's the fastest, but who slows down the least over the course of the race, and that's where pacing really comes into it.
So we've just got a little pause here before we get going. Maybe just a query about a time or something like that, but the whistle goes now and we'll be off to heat 3. Full lineup of swimmers on the blocks. There they are. Craig MacDonald goes in 0 for Western Bartonshire. In 1 it is Archie Dixon of City of Glasgow. In 2 Thomas Coates, Swim West Lothian. 3 is Carl Barrett from the University of Aberdeen. 4 Oliver Carter, para swimmer from University of Stirling, S10. Struan Kingdom at Round 96 in 5. Kai Carlos of Barnet Cockfold in 6. Kyle McKenna in lane 7 for Wigan Best, Lewis McKean of Bellshill in 8, and Leon Campbell of Stirling Swim in lane 9. So the entry times here 4:21 up to 4:27. Looks steadier, the starts here, I think, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, they're taking it a lot more conservatively maybe than the last heat did, but the second 50, again, not much of a drop. 28.4 to 32 high, I think, 33 low on that last 50.
So the 100 split half a second faster than the previous heat, and you expect them to settle into probably a faster pace now. Lewis McKean of Bells Hill. We promised Scott Warnock just before the transmission, the Bells Hill coach, that we were never going to mention his team, but, well, no. We have.
No, we have, and we'll see how he progresses through this race, but he's off to a cracking start here.
1:34.32 at the 150. Carl Barrett, who seems to have thrived since he moved up to Aberdeen from Western Bartonshire this year, is going nicely in lane 3. I think he might have taken over the lead. Now, the Barnet swimmers up there. Kai Carlos. So is the para swimmer Ollie Carter. Set a backstroke Scottish para record yesterday. So keep an eye on that as well.
It looks like it's going to be a cracking race over this last 200. Obviously, if it goes anything to the playbook of the previous heats, we'd expect the Barnet swimmer to have a strong back end, and they certainly look like they're moving up here.
And so we'll watch with interest how he gets on. Through the turn, 2:42.48.
Again, for some of these swimmers, over these last 2 turns, this is where they can make easy ground on others just by being quick round the wall, really attacking it into the turn so they can come off stronger and faster.
So coming up to the 300 turn. It is still Carl Barrett, 3:16.26. So pacing just under 68 there. Still pushing on in lane 4 is Oliver Carter. So he is looking pretty strong here.
Starting to move up onto his hip, and it could be a good race if they can have a good last turn.
His Scottish record set last summer, 4:21.85. So we will keep an eye on that as we go here. You'd really have to pick it up, I think, to match that, but well, you never know. It's certainly looking good for Carl Barrett. He is going to bring this one in by quite a margin. Nicely controlled swim, this. Let's see what his time is. 4:20.86. 4:24.56 for Ollie. So that record will have to wait for another day. It was about 2.5 seconds away from that, but a good solid swim from him. Lewis McKean of Bells Hill taking 3rd. 2 more heats to go in this 400 freestyle. Just looking at the times that they will be thinking about to get another swim. 4:10 would be required to get in the A final. 4:17 for the Bs. And if you get under 4:20, I think you've probably got a good shout in the juniors. So we go on to heat number 4, and we have in this one Joseph Robbins of Durham City in 0, Matej Bartos of Barnet in 1, Sean Craig Mile of East Lothian in 2, Patrick Shimmin of Newcastle in 3, Benjamin Winterburn of Carnforth in 4, Ben Gilchrist of Durham City in 5, Ben Smith of Wigan Best in 6, Stephen Kravis of East Lothian in 7, Tom Bramwell, Chesley Street in 8, and John Houston of South Ayrshire in lane 9.
I guess it's no surprise to see Stefan taking this out. He's had a great couple of months, a tremendous snags. It's great to see him not just doing the shorter events, but also having a good go at the middle distance stuff here.
So just 13 years old from East Lothian. He's quite a big boy for his age, and if you're an age group coaching somebody like Stefan, a huge talent for his age, how did you bring him on without sort of perhaps having him over swimming and perhaps burning out? So how did you just keep the hunger and drive to make it all the way through to senior swimming from that young age?
I'm sure him and Bruce will have sat down and gone through a plan, but it'll be structured around building race opportunities, developing skills and setting him up with everything he might need for senior swimming, but certainly a tremendous talent.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on him. I think he might just have been overhauled at the moment. As we come up to halfway, it's lanes 3 and 4, Patrick Shimmin and Benjamin Winterburn just ahead of Kravis, and then the Wigan swimmer Ben Smith. 206.93, just 300ths in it between first and second.
I guess going through in 206, we'd be expecting these boys to challenge the mid-teens, 4:14, 4:15 maybe.
Kravis is still very much in the mix with the older swimmers. Remember that he's going up against a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old here, and on his shoulder another 18-year-old. So just you tend to forget that with Stefan, that he is so young, because he is a big lad.
Yeah, technically, he looks big in the water, and real good catch and connection there.
But gradually, those other two are getting away from him, Patrick and Benjamin. Coming up now towards the 300, and they are still pretty much side by side as they go through. Just the advantage with Benjamin, 3:13.37. So about just over a 66 pace. So looking around maybe 4:20, but perhaps a bit faster than that with a faster last 100. 4:18 and 4:19 the entry times for these two.
Stefan's really again beginning to kick on. It should be a great race between these three down this last length.
So final turn. Winterburn still leads, but there's only half a second between the three of them now. So it'll be about the speed and strength really to battle it down. I think the older boys obviously have the advantage there, and they are having a mighty scrap there in lanes 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's a great battle here.
They're still pushing on to staying not far away from them. But it's a completely different technique. The legs are certainly going from Stefan, but not so much that quicker stroke rate, and it was a fast and furious Ben Winterburn who got that one there, 4:16.65. So he took his time down in that final 100 from a 66 to a 63. That was good enough to take the win, with Patrick Shimmin 4:17.41, Stefan Kravis 4:17.84, and all three of them inside their entry times. John Houston 4:18.60 as well. It came in on a 4:21, so I think the South Ayrshire contingent with Byron Sterica will be happy with that performance. Last of our 400s now. we have Matthew Sylvester for Wigan Best in 0, Samuel Naylor of Newcastle in 1, Alex Crossland-Robbins from the University of Stirling in 2, Tom Jeffers of Perth City in 3, Angus Rutherford of Hearts in 4, Aaron Stowe of Finns in 5, Michael Flynn of Cumbernauld in 6, Daniel Saunders of Warrender in 7, Henry Moore of Southport in 8, and George Rudd of City of Oxford in lane 9. So 28.3 down the first length.
We saw this in the last heat, the 400 in the women's race, but out here in lane 8, we've got them taking on the race again.
Fairly close coming through the 100. There's about 5 of them all on 60 point, led by Henry Moore in lane 8, 60.12. The Southport swimmer was a finalist in last year's British Summer Championships. This year going in the 15 age group. Last year in the youngest 13-14 age group. In lane 4, the Hart swimmer Angus Rutherford, and beside him the Finn swimmer Aaron Stowe. And maybe just consolidating second and third, although Sam Naylor up in 1 is up there as well. Still, what, 7 swimmers, fairly close as we approach halfway. Do you change your race tactics depending on what's going on in the pool, or do you stick with a plan that you've agreed beforehand?
I guess you try and stick and see out your plan, and don't let others affect you too much. But there is always that point that we are in a race, and that, you know, if it's vastly different, or if something happens and you feel like you're good, and maybe you can push on a little bit more.
Well, certainly it's Henry Moore looks to be doing that in this third 100. He is really making a move on the others. Let's see whether they respond or whether they're happy to leave it to the final 100 to try and claw this back, but he's opened up a pretty good gap there. 2:37.80, and the next fastest 2:38.97, so over a second the gap there. Do you think maybe has he gone too early?
Yeah, it looks like lane 2 is definitely coming back a little bit here, and also the Finns from in lane 5.
So Alex Crossland-Robbins from the University of Stirling, because they know how to do a middle distance freestyle there. And it is now Alex 3:10.79 who has taken over the lead just from Henry Moore. We'll see whether Henry can bounce back. As you said, Matt, Aaron Stowe pushing on in lane 5 and Sam Naylor in lane 1. But, well, I think it is a 3-way contest. It does look like Henry Moore has come back in this penultimate 50. He's only 1800s behind Alex Crossland-Robbins now. Aaron Stowe still in the hunt in lane 5 as well. But, well, who's got the power to take it down this final length? Maybe Crossland-Robbins in lane 2 with the advantage. Moore and Stowe side by side, but it's going to be Crossland-Robbins who takes the win, coming in at 4:15.41. Interesting, because the previous heat finished it on a 63. That was nearly a 65 there, and almost level pacing. Not quite, but a little bit of acceleration there. But is that a little bit of a surprise? You might have thought that the final length might have been a bit faster there.
Yeah, you might have thought, but then again, it just depends on what's the best way for that athlete to swim. And it looks like with that even pacing, it was maybe they're better just when they hold a certain pace and into a certain rhythm, and you know, he came back strong in that second.
Yeah. Alex, I think, probably is a distance swimmer coming down to the 400 rather than the 200 going up, and that probably makes a difference in terms of how they swim it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, maybe in the 1500 he swims 500s, descend 1 to 3, and maybe that's a similar thing to what he's looking at, trying to replicate over the 400.
So we're done with 400 freestyle. We move now to 100 backstroke. Women up first, just the 4 heats in this. There you can see the girls preparing themselves. The ledges in place. And there's the lineup for heat number 1. Rebecca Schulman, Holly Miller, Cara Mowbray, Esme Lee, Erin Cruikshank, Cara Myatt, Louise Bradley, Ella Wood, Beth Johnson and Cameron Lynch. So these girls 111s and 112 entry times. Another para swimmer going in this one, the border swimmer Beth Johnson in the S10 category. So she's in lane 8.
Again, in this back crawl, it's all about trying to maintain the tempo, getting down that first length. It's like a nice tempo but easy, so you can really power it on in that second length and utilise the distance off the wall.
And it is Cara Mowbray, 34.49, just a touch ahead of Cameron Lynch in lane 9. And it's certainly Cara perhaps looking to be the favourite here. Bring it down strongly in the second length. Cameron Lynch still holding second, although Cara Myatt now is coming at her in lane 5, but no such issues for Cara Mowbray. She takes the win in 1:11.78, just a tenth and a bit inside her entry time. See there, no time up on the board for Louise Bradley, so we will have to fix that, get a time for her, and that allows us to move on. That's been done now, 1:16.80. So that's the complete lineup there. And that is the scrolled result there, the 1, 2, 3, Cara Mowbray, Cameron Lynch and Cara Myatt. On to heat 2. Clearing the pool at the end of the back. So it's a bit of a debate going on in Scottish swimming circles at the moment as to whether we need to do that, or whether they could just hold on to the lane ropes like they do on every other stroke and have that backstroke start go alongside them. Do you have a view on that one?
I mean, it certainly reduces time elsewhere in the world when we do it. It doesn't affect them.
Your backstrokers aren't bothered by it. They're quite happy to go with the swimmer beside them.
Yeah, no, it's just a case of once you've done it once and you've got used to it, then it doesn't cause too many problems. But a great start here from the Glasgow girl in lane 4. She almost utilised all the 15 underwater.
The lineup here: Fern Crichton, Abby Armstrong, Amber Stevenson, Megan Porteous, Alicia Greenshields, Chloe Barron, Iona Wilson, Elle McMillan, Sophie Ferguson and Ellie Robertson. Through the turn, lane 6, Iona Wilson, 33.87. Already saw a win from her in the fly. But looking to double up on heat wins. Nice focus on her at a stroke.
Need to watch out for the Perth swimmer again in the outside lane. They seem to be loving this afternoon. Really coming through strong.
Yeah, and it looks like Fern Crichton is going to take it from lane 0. So we're back to the outside smokers starting to go now. We've dropped distance to the 100, 1:10.18. Second and a half improvement on her entry time. So another super swim from a Perth girl. Iona Wilson in the end takes second, 1:11.36, just ahead of Amber Stevenson. So Perth really putting in some good swims here, and Dixon has clearly got them well prepared for this one. 3 coming up.
Again, it's probably great for some of these younger swimmers to get the opportunity to use the backstroke wedge. We're pretty lucky in Scotland that we have so many opportunities for the guys to utilise them and use them, because they've really changed the game as to backcrawl starting.
So heat 3. Looks like we've got an empty lane in lane 5 in this one. So the lineup is Holly Lumsden, Martha Reeves, Lauren Chalmers, Alice Knight, Rowan McGill, Rosie Smith, Olivia Katori, Ailsa Kellis and Isabel Wood. Talking about 109s and 110s, the entry times here. Strong start down at the bottom of your screen from the black-capped swimmers. Olivia from Newcastle and Ailsa from Carnegie. Also there Isabel Wood of Stirling. And in lane 4, Rowan McGill of Hearts. Ailsa Kellis, another one that we've seen a strong swim already from. 33.93 for her, but 100th ahead of her, Rowan McGill of Hearts. 16-year-old, and well, nicely through the turn and taking that to good advantage down this second length. Lauren Chalmers making a bit of a move in lane 2. So it looks like now they are the 1-2, and it's going to be the Hearts swimmer. We'll bring this in. And getting a nice, that ducking into the wall. Is that quite hard for an age group swimmer to perfect, just getting that absolutely right, that backstroke finish?
Yeah, but again, you get the opportunity to practice it every day, and it's really down to them to know counts into the wall, and I'm sure the coaches in the Hearts and all the programmes across Scotland will allow time to learn that skill and keep on practicing it.
So 1:10.20, pretty much the same time as Fern Crichton, just 200ths slower than her time from heat number 2. So one more heat to go. Just looking at the times here, that 1:10 probably just outside what's required for another swim tonight, so really need to get into low 109 territory.
Again, in the backcrawl events, pacing is so key. You know, there's quite a big drop off between the first and the second 50s here. What I'd like to see is them to really tighten that up. When you look at some of the top girls, it's maybe only a second difference between that first and second 50, opposed to several here.
So this is the last of the heat. We've got 9 swimmers here: Charlotte Nesta, Coco Sowden, Rachel Grant, Jessica Law, Katie Tulloch, Madison Chua, Rachel Dawson, Abby Tyson and Anna O'Brien. 33.27, so that's about 6/10 faster than anything we've seen. The lead with Madison Chua of Cockermouth in the yellow cap. Beside her, Katie Tulloch of South Aberdeenshire. And up at the top of your screen, Charlotte Nesta of Wigan. And maybe Charlotte now has the advantage. So perhaps she's one who's taking your words to heart, Matt, of not dropping off in the second half and getting the benefit of that now. She's up by a metre and a half. Let's see what her time is, 1:09.45. So she's going to be close, I think, but well, we'll have to wait and see. 18-year-old though, so I think she won't be, is not a junior, so we can forget about that actually. Not eligible for the junior final. Katie Tulloch taking second, Madison Chua, the halfway leader, in third. So it is now the turn of the men, and we have 6 heats here for the men's 100 back. Got a nice view of Sam Mora of South Ayrshire with his race face on as we just scroll through the girls' results. See loads and loads of 110s, 111s, 112s. Just shows how tight it is here, how competitive the racing is this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of depth, and your 10th hero there can have a big effect on where you end up in the overall results.
And a big factor in that is the strong presence from the north of England here in Glasgow. It's absolutely great to have so many of them making the trip up to Glasgow this weekend. Of course, bank holiday in England tomorrow, so they can have a rest day maybe if their coach lets them.
Yeah, I'm sure most of them will be wanting a rest day tomorrow after a real strong weekend of racing.
So we're on to that first heat now of men's 100 backstroke. Callum Rose in 0, Sam Moore in 1, Jonathan Eborn in 2, David Kernahan in 3, Murray Pritchard in 4, Aidan Berry in 5, Charlie Hughes in 7, Owen Carroll in 8, and Kai Carlos in lane 9.
Again, here it looks like the near side of the pool task is taking it out strong in 7 and 8.
31.53 for Charlie Hughes, 32.02 for Owen Carroll. And we've got lanes 2 and 3 up there. Jonathan Eborn of Newcastle and David Kernahan of Warrender.
Oh, we just lost a nose clip there.
So a pretty close one here. And it looks like it's Jonathan Eborn with a strong second half. He's going to bring this one in 06.41. I think he was the swimmer that lost his nose clip, so he did well to not let that bother him.
Yep.
David Kernan second, Charlie Hughes third. So somewhere in the pool there's a nose clip. I think it's going to stay there probably for the next hour or two.
Yep.
So that was a nice improvement, down from a 108 to a 106.4. A 15-year-old. Could that be enough to get him a trip back to Glasgow in the summer for the British Summer Championships?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out as the weekend closes. I know there's meets all over the place, Cardiff, Portsmouth, so we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yes, everybody's going to be looking at the rankings very anxiously in the next few days as these meets get processed. And all will be revealed as to who can make the trip back to Glasgow for the British. First time we've had the British Summer Championships here in Scotland, so that's going to be something to look forward to. Heat 2, Bryce Proctor in 0, Jason Cumming in 1, Robert Burgess in 2, Luke Porteous in 3, Jack Brown in 4, Cameron Palmer in 5, Scott Smith in 6, Jamie Claxton in 7, Dylan Cashmore in 8, and Finlay Hotworth in 9. 31.98, not quite as fast as the previous heat. And it is Cameron Palmer of Bells Hill. There we go, we mentioned them again.
Yeah, Mr. Warnock's getting a few shout-outs this session.
Over in lane 0, the Dumfries swimmer Bryce Proctor going well. And get a shot of the Hart swimmer Jack Brown, who is in the mix as well. This is going to be very, very tight. Maybe Jack, I think our cameraman knew what he was talking about there, getting that shot on him because he picked a winner there, 106.43 for Jack Brown. Cameron Palmer of Bells Hill taking second, 106.73, and it was Finlay Hartworth just touching out Robert Burgess for third place, 107.10.
Again, it's great to see all those boys improving on their entry times.
Jack Brown just edging inside his, but the others by a little bit more. Heat 3. All these little preparations going on. Just checking the goggles, that little shake of the arms. Routine is everything as you get ready to go. Line up here. Return to the pool for the para swimmer Jack Milne from Dundee in 0. Angus Johnson of Western Berkshire in 1. Nathan Beardwell of Barnet in 2. Alex Campbell, City of Manchester in 3. Alex Beveridge, University of Aberdeen in 4. Finlay Scott of Warrender in 5. Ethan Brown of St Thomas in 6. Angus Harold, South Aberdeenshire in 7. Callum Dunn of South Ayrshire in 8. And Taylor Walters of Dundee City Aquatics in 9.
Again, I was going to say again, you can see several different stroke rates as they go through here, and it'll really be a question of can the guys with the faster stroke rates maintain it, or will those with slower rates build and catch them?
Well, we'll find out shortly enough. There's very little to choose between about 8 of these swimmers. So I'm not going to call a winner on this one just yet, because it's really, really tight. Maybe lanes 2, 3 and 5, perhaps particularly Finlay Scott in 5.
Going for 8.
And it is Finlay who just gets the touch, 1:05.42, so picking up the pace from the previous heat by about a second. Alex Campbell second, Nathan Beardwell in third. So splits there 31-34. Would you hope to see, if you were 31, maybe slightly faster in the second half?
Yeah, again, this morning a lot of our swimmers were splitting 31 and coming back in 32, so you really want to keep that race quite compact. I think that's the best way to swim the back row.
Easier to do if you're a 19 or 20-year-old compared with if you're a 15 or 16-year-old?
Yeah, absolutely, but you can play about with the front end and the back end. Maybe just taking that front end out a fraction slower allows you to come back a lot quicker on the back end of this.
So a couple of empty lanes in the middle here, lanes 5 and 6. So 8 swimmers go. Robert Wright, Craig MacDonald, Richard Butterworth, Ben Jenkinson, Ewan MacDonald, Ewan Beatty, Adam Strickland and Jack Wales. When you have got 2 races like this with 2 empty lanes side by side, does that change things at all in terms of you lose touch with what's going on across the whole field?
Possibly, maybe not so much in the back row because there's not as much opportunity to breathe to the left or the right, obviously, but it certainly will for the guys in 7 and 4. They'll be aware that there is an empty space beside them.
31.05, Adam Strickland of Derwent's side leading, but good turning skills there from the Morpeth swimmer in lane 2, Richard Butterworth. It does look like Richard has taken that momentum from the turn into this second half. So again, we saw a 31 split. It'll be interesting to see what they can bring this back in. 1:03.99, so that's more like it, isn't it?
I think that was exactly 31-32 there. So a great swim by him, and the way he maintained his rate in the last 15 really helped him get there in the end.
And it seemed to be helped a lot by absolutely nailing your turn in the middle and getting that good skill with that great
absolutely.
Push off the wall.
When you come into the wall, you've got to make sure you utilise all that speed so you can use it in the underwater phase, and then again come out fast into that second length and set yourself up.
So 1:03.99 the time there. Just looking at what's required here for the juniors. I think we are talking about 1:02s probably as a minimum to swim again. So there's certainly chances for the swimmers coming up. Heat 5 is full. John Houston, Rory Young, Ewan Gumbrell, Sam Glass, Kyle McKenna, Thomas Hill, Sean Craig Mile, Ollie Hall, Struan Kingdom and Felix Hale. Entry times here 1:03s in the main.
Again, Ollie Hall looks like he's had a great start. He's fantastic underwater to 15, and he's really carrying that into the turn now in the first length.
Yeah, he has gone faster than his entry time here in the Northeast Regionals. He did a 1:02.6, so we'll see whether he can take that even further here. First sub 30-second split. Quite a bit faster than we've seen. They are coming at him now, though.
Thomas Hill's coming back, and then on the outside you've got to watch for John Houston as well here.
Yes, John Houston has had some really good swims. In fact, he is very strong in the second half. He's going to take this by quite a big margin, having been in the pack at halfway. 1:01.84. Well, he's an 18-year-old, so not a junior. But that was an excellent swim from him. Just looking at the B final, you'd have to do a 60.0 to threaten for that. So I'm not quite at that pace for John, but excellent stuff. We'll be very happy with that on a 1:03.9 entry time.
And again, I think he was out there 30 point and back in 31, so he kept that race real nice and tight.
I can tell you here that my colleague has taken a lesson from Test Match Special here, and he's tucking into the cake. It's clearly something he tips to his swimmers to do. Maybe not.
It's a lovely red velvet, but not for the swimmers.
We have one more heat of 100 backstroke. And they set off Archie Minto, Aidan Brown, Elliot Miller, Andrew Wicks, Giano Napolitano, Logan Easton, Yasin O'Neill, Ben Ferguson, Jamie Ferguson and Joshua Aspinall.
Again, it looks like the University of Stirling swimmer here, taking it out quite strong, nice high tempo.
Giano, the only one with a sub 62 entry time. 29.87, that is the same split as we saw in the previous heat. That was Ollie Hall, of course, at halfway. It was John Houston that came out of the turn and then took it to the rest of the field. This time Napolitano will be wanting to maintain control of this race throughout, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He has Logan Eason in lane 5, and up at the top of the screen, Archie Minto and Aidan Brown. But Napolitano read from the off 1:01.86, another one who is not a junior, so he is inside his entry time by a tenth. So he takes the win. Looking at the lines up very tight for second, 1:02.98, Logan Eason 1:02.99. Aidan Brown and Archie Minto just behind them. Let's see that summarised for you. There it is, right on cue. Giano taking the win, but by 200ths, the fastest this afternoon, John Houston. And we probably will see that scrolling. It looked like there was an adjusted time, didn't quite catch what was going on there. I think it was Ben Ferguson's time, either his or Yasin O'Neill, that got adjusted. That is the confirmed result, and that is the summary of your top 10 from this afternoon, led by John Houston. So we will just go through those so you can pick out the ones that you are particularly interested in case you missed it earlier. A couple on 1:07.10s there, tied. As we go through, we have had a few swim-offs during the week. We had one this morning. Of course, it gets interesting when we have a tie for 10th place between a swimmer in the morning and a swimmer in the afternoon. Life gets complicated at that point.
Yeah. Well, it adds a little bit of excitement to the final session.
Women's 200 breaststroke is our next event. And we've got 6 heats, just the 4 swimmers in heat number 1. Lucy Stowes goes for Dundee City Aquatics in lane 3, Grace Courtney of East Lothian in 4, and 2 swimmers from first, Brooke Braidwood in 5 and Zara Cowan in lane 6.
Yeah, I guess the 200 breaststrokes one of those races that's finely balanced in terms of tempo, efficiency, plus the skills are so important.
So of course you have had a great 200 breaststroker in your programme up until comparatively recently. Callum Tate, a double Commonwealth Games swimmer for Scotland.
Yeah, Callum Tate and Nick Quinn as well, an Irish Olympian, both training within the programme, as well as a whole host of female breaststrokers. So it's been great to watch them all develop.
So when you're looking at 200 breaststroke, obviously very hard on the legs.
Hard on the legs and hard on the lungs. And it really does become about setting up your stroke length, holding on to that technique, and whether you can pick it up or whether you just try and maintain efficiency.
And when we look at Ross Murdoch doing his 200 breaststroke, you see that sort of long stroke. And is that what you want to have, that sort of cadence in a 200 versus the faster stroke rate from the hundreds and the 50 guys?
Well, again, it's each to size. I mean, it was brilliant watching Ross this morning. I think he took 7 or 8 strokes down the first length, and he went 107, 107. So it just shows you the ability of these top guys to pick it up and swim it evenly. However, there's swimmers like Craig Benson, Callum Tate, who swam with higher tempos. So really, it's about finding the best balance for you.
So when you're seeing these two girls from first going here, are you liking what you're seeing in terms of what they're doing?
Yeah, Zara's got a lovely length, and it looks like Brooke's using the tempo a little bit more to her side advantage, but great distance off the wall by Zara there.
Does look like Brooke might just put in a bit of a challenge down this final length, and Lucy Stowes, the 13-year-old from Dundee, is not too far away from the two first girls.
And these girls will be under the tutelage of Andrew Addison, who's a fair few breaststrokers in his time, so we'll be passing off some tips to them.
As we see them come past the 15-metre mark, as you can see there's not too much in it now. Zara Cowan had the advantage, but Brooke Braidwood is right there with her now. Local bragging rights at stake here. Who gets the touch? Oh, 1/100th of a second. Zara Cowan just nicks it. So holds off Brooke there at the death. Interesting that they've gone to opposite sides of the pool there. They're not talking to each other at the moment.
No congratulations there, but I'm sure it's great competition within the training pool.
So they get a little rest until the next swimmers go. Oh no, they don't. They're being told to clear the pool. So that suggests that we might have another little problem. We've had a few little technical niggles throughout this weekend, which has just slowed things down a little bit from time to time. But, I know our technical team working hard to get them resolved quickly as they crop up.
Yeah, whilst it does delay the meet a little. It's great learning experience for some of these swimmers. Just to stay focused, stay sharp, and these are things that will happen all through their careers. So it's not a bad thing.
Maybe we're doing it on purpose then, just to add to the experience for them. Shot of the swim down pool there. It's a little 4x25 pool just behind the curtain here. And there's our crowd just checking out on what's going on, which is not a lot, I suppose, at the moment. And we are now ready to go. The swimmers called back to the blocks. There they come. So this will be heat number 2. You line up on the screen there. 10 lanes occupied for this one. Hebe Weavers goes for Carnegie in 0. Ailey Armstrong of East Lothian in 1. Ciara Hart of Scotia in 2. Abby McClenachan of First in 3. Remy Muirhead of City Glasgow in 4. Katie Brennan of Bellsill in 5. Erica Watt of Carnegie in 6. Hayley Stewart of Warrender in 7. Caitlin Heaney at East Lothian in 8. And Ciara Joyce of Durham City in lane 9. tell you that my co-commentator now is absolutely stuffed full of cake, so not going to hear much from him in the next few seconds.
Sorry, it was a short break between lunch. It's taking me about half an hour to get through that cake.
Well, enjoy it.
A great start by the Wanderers. So they're on the first length.
Hayley Stewart, that is. And we have the Bellshill swimmer, Katie Brennan, also in the red cap. And in between them, Carnegie's Erica Watt. Plenty of others not far away from them. But they, I think, are the top three coming down the second length from green capped. I think that should be a Midlothian team swimmer, but it's not. It's Scotia's Kira Hart.
Yeah.
So wearing green.
And for these guys now, it's about sticking to the race plan. Obviously, they might get a tendency to get caught up in the race here, but that can have a big effect at the end of the race. So, should they be sticking to what they've spoke with the coach?
Kira Joyce of Durham also going nicely there on the right hand side, bottom of your picture. But looks like it's the Warrender girl, Ailey Stewart. Briefly it was Katie Brennan who had the advantage. Still Erica Watt right there with them. So they of course will be very aware of each other, and as you said, it's stick to the plan. But then I guess in the last few metres you've got to then really just race it.
Yeah, from now it's about who can get to that wall quickest. It's all good. Oh, great turn there again from lane 5. But here comes the Carnegie girl picking up her rate.
So it was Katie Brennan in lane 5, and that just gave her about half a metre or so. Now we're seeing if she can hold on to that. It is very much these three swimmers ahead of Scotia's Kira Hart there in the green cap at the top of your picture. But it does look like Katie Brennan is the one that they are all chasing. And I'm not sure they're going to catch her. Erica Watt has moved into second ahead of Hayley Stewart. That looks like it's going to be the 1-2-3. 3:00:58 for Katie. Just over half a second inside her entry time. Erica 3:01:25 and Ailey 3:01:48.
Again, it looks like Mr. Warnock's having a great afternoon with another PB there.
So a summary of that result, headed by Katie Brennan. So we set ourselves up now for Heat 3. The line-up for this one: Ayumi Folds, City of Glasgow in 0, her teammate Lauren Taylor in 1, Sarah McNaughton of Warrender in 2, Summer Innes of West Lothian in 3, Laura Frizzell of Best in 4, Sophie Portier of Warrender in 5, Amelia Ray of Ren 96 in 6, Ava Kirkham of First in 7, Olivia Clark of Dundee City Aquatics in 8, and Ailey Douglas of Mulgai and Bearsden in lane 9. Most of these swimmers just under the 3 minutes, 4 of them just over. Ailey Douglas starting well in lane 9, and she touches in 40:10. They're taking it out fairly steadily, this group.
Yeah, it looks a lot more cautious. A lot of them keeping some big length and long glides, so whether they maybe choose to pick that up in the second 100. But what a race, you know, you've got 10 athletes all in a row. Not often we have this in a 200 breaststroke at this stage in the race.
Of course, way back in the day, you were a 200 breaststroker, I seem to remember.
Possibly more 150 breaststroke with a struggle down the last 50. But yeah,
So what were your coaches telling you at the time in terms of how to swim this race?
Oh, mainly to slow down my rate. I swam like a bit of a headless chicken, so that's
So very much now it's do what I say, not what I did.
absolutely, and that goes for the cake I've been eating too.
So Sarah McNaughton, promising youngster from Warrender, 13-year-old in lane 2, is going pretty nicely. Our teammate Sophie Portier's in the mix in 5. Beside her, Ren swimmer Amelia Ray. Seem to be mentioning Ren in dispatches quite a bit as well this afternoon. And it is Sophie now, just by 200ths, with 50 to go, to 13.13.
Again, the Warrender swimmers finishing strongly. That's obviously a key tactic they've had at this competition.
And in particular, Sarah McNaughton just seems to have found another speed altogether, and it means that Sophie Portier perhaps slightly later going into the speed, but she has really upped her stroke rate. Seems to get a lot more lift in the body when she speeds it up. Is that a good thing?
Yeah, if you can get the hips high, it might be good, but it's all about trying to keep that momentum going forward. And again, as she applies that power, it just maybe gives her a little bit more height.
So we're seeing them coming in, but it's Sarah McNaughton. Almost like she stole a bit of a march on her teammate there, just really strong off the wall and into the stroke there, and suddenly she had about 1.5 meters up, and then the others playing catch up and couldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And out there in lane 2, swam her own race. You know, probably weren't aware of each other and where they were in the race, but great swimming by both the girls.
So again, looking at the times that will be needed, I think we're talking about something in the low 250s to qualify for a final tonight. So you wouldn't expect Sarah, as a 13-year-old, entered on 2:59 to be there, but she'll be well happy with her 2-second progression. Heat 4 now. We have an empty lane in lane 6, so the 9 who go are then Rada McGregor of Carnegie in 0, Amy Bell in 1 for Midlothian, Rachel Bezic of Dumfries in 2, Isla Walker of Western Berkshire in 3, Imani Barker of Cockermouth in 4, Adele McDade of Hearts in 5, Megan Collins of Warrender in 7, Aoife Moore of East Cavan in 8, and Esme Lee of Finns in lane 9. 59.37, Megan Collins, so another Warrender swimmer leading the way.
Obviously, they've got some great history in Warrender in the club with breaststrokers.
Yes, of course, they've got the para star at the moment, Scott Quinn, world record holder in that Warrender programme. We'll be seeing him in London in the World Para Championships.
Yeah, he had a cracking swim just a few weeks ago where I think he broke the world record, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Absolutely superb. And was inside that world record pace from previous world record pace twice in a day. 25.34, so that is faster than we've seen. Imani Barker of Cockermouth. And we've talked about it before, but I don't mind talking about it again. What a programme Cockermouth have.
Yeah, for many years now they've been very strong at bringing kids through. You know, there's a list as long as your arm of kids that have been at juniors and out onto senior teams as well.
But it's push now because Megan Collins is right up there with Imani. Looks like it's a race between these two now. They've got a fair amount of headroom over 3rd place. See who gets the touch. It still is the Cockermouth girl, Imani 2:10.83. Now nearly 2.5 seconds faster than the previous heat, and that was around 45.5 split. Suddenly though, it's tightening up.
The Warrender swimmers picked up their tempo here, and I think they're just really beginning to take into the lead.
You get a shot of them coming down towards our camera. hard to get the positions from that shot, but I can tell you it is getting really tight now. There's about 5 swimmers within a metre of each other, and maybe it's going to be another big finish from our Warrender swimmer. It is Megan Collins coming through to take that one in 2:56.26. 2:57.51 for Imani, just holding off the Western Barsetshire swimmer Isla Walker. 2:57.53. There's the result confirmed for you. So again, a big back end from a Warrender swimmer. Of course, Warrender were runaway winners of top club in the National Age Group Championships, and really testament to the depth of their programme, both in terms of swimmers and coaches. They really know how to bring on both, I think. It must be a great programme to develop as a budding coach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've got a great structure, and they've had it over many years now. So, yeah, no, they're doing fantastically well, and it's great to see them continue to develop as this coaching staff and structure changes and evolves.
So this is heat number 5. The field here, Lauren Lacey for Borough of Stockton in 0. Carly Nimmo of Bellshill in 1. She leads at the 50. Natasha Phillips of Arbroath St Thomas in 2. Ellen McPhee, the 12-year-old from City of Glasgow in 3. Caris Sterling of First in 4. Kira Stericker of South Ayrshire in 5. Then 2 from Durham, Izzy Fear in 6 and Emma Simpson in 7. Kate Gray of Inverleith in 8 and Jessica Murray of Warrender in 9. So down length 2, and it looks like we're going to have to do it again. Mention Bellshill. Carly Nimmo is, I think, going to lead them in, or is she? Well, it's tight now. No, in fact, it's Izzy Fear from Durham. 1:22.43 for her. Also making a bit of a move now is the youngster from City of Glasgow, Ellen McPhee. Ellen, National Age Group champion in this event.
Yeah, it's got a lovely clean stroke at the front, Ellen. Looks like it's developed into a great race between these two.
Izzy has a pretty sizable lead, so you would fancy her strongly at this point. 2:05.69, so 43 seconds or so there. So just looking at this one, I think we could be going for another swim here for the Durham swimmer. I mentioned that we were looking at something in the 250-ish range would be good enough probably to get that.
Really tighten up here though.
Well, if Ellen McPhee, the 12-year-old, could do it, that would be quite remarkable. And she is certainly giving it a real go down this last length. Izzy Fear is trying to hang on. Oh, she just does. 2:51.54. Yeah, that was hard for her in that final 50, and got herself a nice PB of over 2 seconds, but I think she'll be feeling the pain a bit following that. You see her to the right of those two Durham girls, and well, gasping for air really there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, but a fantastic race by those two.
So Ellen McPhee 2:51.85, Carly Nimmo was third, quite a way back, 2:56 and change. 2:51. Well, it's going to be on the cusp, I think. Might just make it. We'll need to wait and see. Depends, of course, also on what happens in this heat, because we've got plenty of juniors here. The line-up: Ellie Forsyth of Hamilton Baths in 0, 2 Warrender swimmers, Sophie Hall in 1, Yasmin Ali in 2, Katie Stobbs of Tynemouth in 3, Molly Mooney of Darlington in 4, Imogen Collins of Bells Hill in 5, Molly Cannon of Inverclyde in 6, Kira Davidson of Mulgai and Bearsden in 7, Alicia Greenshield, City of Glasgow in 8, and Hannah Thompson of Western Bartonshire in lane 9. 37.28, that is faster than the previous heat. At the turn, Molly Mooney, 16-year-old from Darlington, leading the way. Beside her in lane 3, another from the northeast of England, Katie Stobbs. So they are our 2 front runners at the moment, followed by Ellie Forsyth up at the top of the screen, with the Warrandy girls just behind her, Sophie and Yasmin. But it is a northeast derby at the moment. Tynemouth against Darlington. Very little to choose between them. 121.74 and 121.85.
Yeah, it looks like Katie's just holding her length and her rate a little bit here, maybe just beginning to go past Molly, but it's so tight.
And maybe here comes some of the others. Down the bottom of your screen there, the City of Glasgow swimmer Alicia Greenshields, beside her Kira Davison and Molly Cannon. But when you see that shot, you see there's still a reasonable gap between the top 2 and their following group. Just a couple of tenths between them. Molly is holding her advantage, but the pace has slipped compared with the previous heat. Of course, we saw Izzy Fear putting in that big third 50 and then paying for it probably in the fourth 50. So this one may be a bit more even, and it does look like Katie Stobbs now just pulling away. So you called it, Matt, that perhaps she was the one who was set up for the strong finish.
Just picking up her tempo here as well, and being able to take a little bit of distance out in the rest of the group. Should come down into the low 50s here.
So Katie, 2:51.35, so a couple of tenths faster than Izzy Fear. So again, another one I think will be very much on the cusp of maybe I, maybe no, in terms of another swim tonight. So she'll be checking out, or a coach probably will be, as to exactly where she stands in the rankings. It is going to be close. So just looking at the reserves, at the juniors rather. I reckon 2:53 actually was the 10th fastest from this morning, so 2:51 should get them in, probably both Katie Stobbs in that one and Izzy Fear in the heat before, so we'll keep our fingers crossed for them. I think they will be swimming again. But it's now men's 200 breaststroke time. We've got 4 heats here. Full pool for the first of them. Owen Carroll goes for Perth City in 0, Dominic Anderson of Morpeth in 1, Taylor Walters of Dundee City Aquatics in 2, Angus Young of Hearts in 3, Matthew McMillan of Carnegie in 4, Matthew Blair, City of Glasgow in 5, Robert Burgess of West Lothian in 6, David Blair of City of Glasgow in 7, Adam Ballard of Carnegie in 8, and his teammate Ben Montgomery is in 9.
Looks like David's really taking this one out at the start.
34.87 for him. We saw this from memory from David in the 100 breaststroke yesterday. Pushing very hard. His City of Glasgow teammate Matthew Blair, I'm told no relation these two.
He's really doing a good job of keeping the momentum, keeping the tempo as he comes down this length. And again, these boys will be looking to emulate someday the great history we've had with men's tuna breaststroke in Scotland.
1:15.90. 1:19.16 Adam Ballard, 1:19.36 Matthew Blair following, but it looked like Matthew Blair got a nice turn there.
He's beginning to pick up the tempo here as Matthew Blair, but it looks like these boys could really be on to smash their entry times.
David's still very much in charge in lane 7. The others have to try and catch him.
This is waiting a tuna breaststroke where if you've got the pacing just a little bit wrong, it can really start to hurt into this last turn. Big breath. And you've got to hold on down this last 50.
Does look like Matthew might just fancy his chances to have a go here. And also, it's Matthew McMillan coming up from quite a long way back in these closing stages. He's really very much changing his pace, and you can see there on the right of your screen, really working it hard down this last length, and the two of them now pretty much up with David Blair now as we come down in the final stages of this race. And the Carnegie swimmer Matthew McMillan, well, we weren't talking about him at all in the first half of the race, but look at him go in this final 50, and he just gets the win. 2:41.47, big improvement of over 3 seconds on his entry time. Oh, the youngster from Carnegie there. Whew. Get that oxygen back in there.
Yeah, that was some last 50. I would have loved to have seen what his split was in comparison to the rest of the race. A cracking controlled swim there.
Confirmation of his win there by 1400ths from David Blair, and Matthew Blair just 700ths behind that. So that was a very interesting race, that one. But Matthew McMillan coming through so strongly at the end, takes the win. On to heat 2. Line up here, Owen Ray of Warrender, Charles Kelly of Southport, Elliot Sinclair of Dumfries, Finn Bremner of Warrender, Archie Dixon of City of Glasgow, Bartek Gaki of East Lothian, Matthew Gordon of South Ayrshire, Jack Jardine of Western Bartonshire, Oleg Smith of First, and David Kernahan of Warrender. Entry times here 2:39 to 2:44. Again, we're seeing a swimmer really pushing it out. This time it's the South Ayrshire swimmer Matthew Gordon. 34.49.
Again, a programme that's steeped in history with breaststrokers of South Ayrshire, so you'll have got some great tips on how to swim this race from Coach Byron.
Yes, particularly if your name's Robertson. Katie and her elder sister Erin before her, both very fine breaststrokers, and Katie Robertson has shown that she's been able to move up from the sprints to the 200 in the last year or so. 1:14.47, about a second and a half faster than the previous heat at the halfway. Matthew looking pretty comfortable at the moment, I think. Looks well controlled, nice and smooth.
Getting right to streamline, really utilising that kick and the glide, and then it sets him up for that pull.
So this is what you'd like to see, and certainly no sign that the others are making any sort of dent on his lead. It's a pretty substantial one as he comes up to the 150 in 1:54.89, quite a bit faster than the first heat, 3.5 seconds or so.
So he'll be hoping that he can hold 40 or maybe just dip under in this last 50, and that'll take him into that 2:34, 2:33 range.
So that would be a big improvement if he can do that. And again, it would set him up for place Later on in the B final, 16-year-old. We're looking at mid-230s as being what's required there. So this is sensational. Away from the South Ayrshire swimmer. He's going to take the heat by a country mile and brings it in 2:37.09. So 42-ish for his final 50. Had a big win there and a big improvement on his 2:40 entry time. And I think we may well see him again tonight. Then Bremner taking second, Elliot Sinclair in third. So 34, 40, 40 and a bit, and then 42 and a bit.
Yeah, maybe that'll be something that you maybe go back and work on with Byron, just try and bring that last 50 down. But I guess he was so far ahead of the rest of the field, he maybe has a little bit more to give tonight, hopefully.
So away we go with heat number 3. Line up here, Sam Harrison of Carnegie in 0, James Keane of West Lothian in 1, Jason English of Warrender in 2, Matthew Woodall of City of Sheffield in 3, Ollie Carr of Stirling Swim in 4, Mark Innes of Warrender in 5, second Stirling swimmer Bruce Dixon is in 6, Thomas English of Chesterley Street in 7, Adam Farquharson of City of Glasgow in 8, and Gianna Napolitano from the University of Stirling in 9.
Giano's having a bit of a busy afternoon. I think that's the second or third time we've seen him in the water.
Interesting combination, 100 backstroke and 200 breaststroke.
Yeah,
that's not one you see every day.
Maybe he's doing a little work for his medley or something.
I think that may be just about spot on there. I think he is a bit of a medley swimmer. Lane 5, Mark Innes. Lane 4, Ollie Carr. Ollie Carr is the one who is setting the pace here. And he is a couple of metres out. Giano is in the mix in lane 9. So 1:14.74 is slightly slower than the previous heat. Only a quarter of a second or so. The second Stirling swimmer, Bruce Dixon, not too far away either. And there you can see the red cap of Warrender's Mark Innes. Trying to play catch up on the Stirling boys. With another red cap, the Sheffield swimmer Matthew Woodall in lane 3. But again, it's the swimmer who has pushed it from the start and still leads at the 150. Ollie Carr, 1:56.07. So his pace there at 41.3, something like that. So if he can take that home, he's going to be in a very similar pace to what we saw from Matthew Gordon the previous heat. But again, he might be tying up a bit, I think, here.
And Giano coming down this last length.
And also the Sheffield swimmer Matthew Woodall is pushing on, and the second Stirling swimmer Bruce Dixon as well. So we've got 4 swimmers now coming in to the final 5 metres. Who's going to get the touch? I think it's between Bruce and Giano, and it is Giano who gets the touch from lane 9, 2:38.66. Just inside his entry time by about 3/10. Second place, Matthew Woodall, 2:39.84. In fact, no, second place, Bruce Dixon, my apologies, 2:38.81, and then Matthew Woodall, 2:39.84. So I guess that's probably was the more maturity of the 19-year-old, just knowing perhaps slightly better how to swim that event and pacing it more cleverly, more, I suppose, more cannily, perhaps is the word, just to know what he can do to bring it home in that final 50.
Yeah, let them take the race out, and then he just built through that second 100.
Unfortunately, there is a disqualification from the other side of the pool. The swimmer in lane 0, Sam Harrison, has done something that the officials didn't like, so he's out. One more heat to go in this men's 200 breaststroke. 100 freestyle follows this. Your line up on the screen. Fraser Cook from Southport. Marius Gringelis of Bells Hill. Leon Campbell of Stirling Swim. Douglas Calder of First. David Rowan of Kilmarnock. Lewis Thompson of Midlothian. Ethan Horn of Rutherglen. Gavin Roberts, City of Glasgow. Borough Stockton's Arthur Llewellyn. And Warrender's Joshua Mitchell. So another para swimmer here, Gavin Roberts. Let's see what he can do. Very much breaststroke specialist. Not quite in the league of Scott Quinn we were talking about earlier, but we'll see what he can produce against his entry time of 2:35. Of course, 200 breaststroke, not a para event. Good start. Up at the top of the screen, Fraser Cook of Southport. He's got the early lead here. So improved on his entry time at the Northwest Regionals recently. Second place in that.
Yeah, again, he's having a great swim out here on the outside. Nice long stroke, good glide.
And you can see there the frontal shot, and now we can see just where he is relative to the rest of the field as you can see him come through the turn.
That's the fastest we've had coming out of the first 100 this afternoon in 1:13.7.
So you always worry a little bit when somebody goes out hard from the outside lane whether they've overdone it earlier on, but it does look like the others are maybe coming back at him now, led by Leon Campbell of Stirling in lane 2. Also Arthur Llewellyn in lane 8. And green cap as well. Lewis Thompson of Midlothian in lane 5 is making a bit of a move. Liam Campbell, though, has moved into the lead, 1:54.20.
Yeah, I think he had a 40 point on that length, so hopefully he'll be aiming to bring it back in that or a little bit quicker on here.
Fourth in national age groups, Leon. Doesn't look like Fraser Cook isn't done yet, though. He is pushing on to try and get back at Leon. It is going to be between these two. Arthur Llewellyn in third on the other side, battling with lane 3, Douglas Calder. But at Leon Campbell, pretty strong down the stretch here and brings it in 2:33.28. Second and a quarter inside his entry time. So just looking at the times from the juniors, I'm pretty confident that we will see Leon again. So good swim from the Stirling contingent there. Seen some decent breaststroke swims from the Stirling swimmers in this last couple of heats, and particularly there from Leon. Confirming his win, 2:33.28, Fraser Cook second, and Arthur Llewellyn third. We get ourselves all geared up for 100 freestyle.
One of the blue ribbon events in swimming. One is the most fun to watch, I mean.
Now you've got some great 100 freestylers in your programme, both women and men. Cumberledge and Thorpe, perhaps the headliners in the men, and the women you've got Lucy and Catherine as well coming down to the 100, and
Rachel Massa as well.
Yes.
Anna Main, so we have a great pedigree in Edinburgh for freestyle.
So let's see what these swimmers can do. So what makes a great 100 freestyler?
Again, a bit of balance, being able to manipulate stroke rate, stroke length, and that balance between the first half of the race and the second half of the race, not going out too hard, so you can have a big second 50.
So it's not like a 50 where you just got to go full tilt the whole way?
No, not at all. And for some swimmers that might be the best way to swim it, but for a lot now, the back end's just so important. And for these guys that will be learning about, different breath patterns you might use in the 50, where they breathe 4s and 6s, 6s all the ways, 2s, but making sure you breathe early enough and then commit to winning the race and get the head down in that last 10.
So it's Mia Ferguson, Ashley Mercer, Ria Colbridge, Ailish Segal, Ailsa Kellis, Beth Johnson, the line-up here, and it's Mia Ferguson of East Kilbride looking like she's going to take this fairly comfortably from the East Lothian swimmer Ailish Segal. Ailish may be closing it down a little bit in the latter stage, but she won't catch Mia, who takes it in 1:03.53, just inside her entry time. Ailish Segal 1:03.85, and third place Ailsa Kellis 1:04.48. Does the wash from the swimmer beside you have a big impact in the 100 freestyle, particularly when you're the big, powerful guys?
Maybe not so much in the individual, and I definitely know in the relays when there can be a bit of a space. The wash from some of these guys when they're going 49s, 48 can be quite significant, and they do feel it. But you know, there's always that part. If you can get onto the lane rope beside them, you might actually get a wee advantage from it.
So it's the line-up here: Iona Wilson, Erin Gourley, Thanrada McGregor, Katrina Stewart, Elle Sutherland, Katie Tulloch, Niamh Tierney, Mari Craig, Olivia Katori, and Caitlin Gillies. 30.44, so a touch slower than the previous heat at halfway, and fairly tight here. Perhaps Elle Sutherland just with the edge in lane 4 in the white cap for South Aberdeenshire. Thanrada going well for Carnegie, and Katrina Stewart as well. Looks like maybe Thanrada McGregor just edging into the lead, but this is really tight. There's 5 of them, lanes 0 to 4, all coming in together, and the touch in fact goes to Elle Sutherland, who just really picked it up again in that last 10 metres. Looked like she was just falling back a bit, and then somehow found some extra pace and took the win by 1500ths. Thanrada second, Olivia Katori third. Heat 3. Sky Mulholland, Coco Sowden, Catherine Bailey, Olivia Damasio, Lucy Lucas, Krista Wilson, Alana McDonald, Elspeth Roper, Eva Alguero, and Amber Stevenson. We saw that fantastic 400 from Catherine Bailey earlier, and I've got to do the 100 in the same session, and perhaps just finding that hard to do because the action is further down from her, with Krista Wilson leading them through and the swimmers round about her main challengers. 29.27, the halfway split.
And when you're going out 29.2, we can maybe challenge that 60 point, maybe low 60 point, maybe high 60 point. But lane 1's having a crack, or 0's having a crack in race out here.
Yes, it's East Kilbride, Sky Mulholland, and well, coming out of the turn, it looks like she has the advantage here and takes the win 1:01.26. Second, Krista Wilson, and Lucy Lucas taking third. So good race there. That could be a case in point where the swimmers in the centre would have had no idea that Sky was doing what she was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. She just sort of snuck out there and probably got out of everyone's vision, and then was able to get her head down in that last 15-20.
On to Heat 4. Rachel Dawson, Francesca Kane, Ilizan Pinfold, Anna Williamson, Blythe Brown, Eve Mayer, Stephanie Strang, Anne Hutchison, Megan Porteous, and Zara Cowan. Times here all in the 1:02s. Decent start from Anne Hutchison from your programme at Edinburgh University.
Yes, she's done a great job with her coach Ross, so she'll have a few good swimmers this weekend, so hopefully she can add to this one as well.
Is she going to lead them through? Not quite. Anna Williamson just 200ths in front of her, 30.20, and 30-22. Another really tight race here. Good turn from Francesca Kane up in lane 1 for Warrender. But, well, it's pretty much a line of swimmers here, although Francesca maybe just has the edge and is still in the mix in lane 7, and then lanes 2 and 3 as well. It is Anne Pinfold and the halfway winner Anna Williamson who gets the touch. Oh, it's Anne Hutchison. Good finishing skills there to edge it. 102.89. Francesca Kane just 500 behind her, and Anna Williamson taking third. To go for the women. The line up for Heat 5. Kira Rennie, Amelia Robertson, Kate Carruthers, Jacqueline McMillan, Charlotte Nestor, Anna de Grosser, Rebecca Schulman, Sophie Hall, Kirsty McNair and Amy Harkness. We're in the 101 territories here.
And again a flying start here in lane 8 by the swimmer
Kirsty McNair, Malguy and Bears Den. We're looking at times required, probably sub 101 to be comfortable of a place in the junior final, and sub minute to get into the B final. That's what we're looking at. 29.04. There's the halfway split. Now it is lane 3. Jacqueline McMillan, well, we saw that fantastic 200 breaststroke from her wee brother Matthew, so that will have maybe inspired her to use a big swim here. And it looks like it works, because she's going to take it just over the minute, 1:00.49. So again, I think that might get her another swim. I said 1:01. That was under that.
Again, fantastic pacing there, out 29 mid and then back 30 points, so superb stuff.
Kirsty McNair second and Kate Carruthers third. Of course, we've still got plenty of juniors to come, so the ante could be up significantly in these next 2 heats. That's when it gets complicated to then combine what happened this morning with what's happening just now. There's someone in lane 5 in this 6th heat. So the line-up is Victoria Duncan in 0, Natasha Simpson in 1, Abby Winstanley in 2, Grace Maskell in 3, Imogen Smith in 4, Gretel Goodgame in 6, Ellie Hamilton in 7, Elise McQueenie in 8, and Toluwani Adelaya in lane 9.
Again, a very good start by this swimmer from Derwent side. Fantastic first 15 and a real high powerful rate down this first length.
Hard to follow these swimmers with that Chateau Camel. You see a splashy water a lot of the time, but it is Grace Maskell, as you said, Matt, leading at the turn and still leading, but not by much.
Yeah, the Barnett swimmer's coming through here. Imogen, she's maybe just taking the lead now.
And also the Cockermouth swimmer Abby Winstanley is in hunt, so it's the yellow caps of Barnett and Cockermouth. Does look like it will be Imogen Smith taking the touch, and it is 1:00.89. So another sub 1:01 from the swimmer, but she's a 20-year-old, so she won't be featuring. And unfortunately, it is a disqualification from her as well. So must have taken a flyer there. I can't say I saw it myself, but
I missed that.
Abby Winstanley then getting the touch, 1:01.23 for Cockermouth. Again, an empty lane here, this time lane 4 in the final heat. Lauren Turnbull goes in 0, Caitlin Duffy in 1, Jenna Cole in 2, Elise Cousins in 3, Louisa Stoddart in 5, Charlotte Berry in 6, Rachel Gillespie in 7, Grace Conroy in 8, and Jennifer Green in 9.
Again, a very even start down here. It's very hard to split from about 6 or 7 swimmers.
This may be just Rachel Gillespie in lane 7. 28.99. In fact, it's Lauren Turnbull up in lane 0. So yeah, put in a good turn as well. Another one of the, in fact, the oldest, equal oldest in this group, 19-year-old, going for Sterling Swimming. And she is looking pretty strong down this second length. We mentioned you have to really go sub-minute to qualify for the B final. She's just going to miss out on that, but it's pretty, only just 1:00:21. Well, that's worth another look, I think, because that is very close. I think she'll miss it by about a tenth unless there's withdrawals. If there is a withdrawal, she's in, I think. But without withdrawals, she will just miss out. But that was an excellent swim. She came in on a 1:00:97, so to bring that down by 7/10.
Yeah, and it's a big barrier, that 60-second barrier, so hopefully she'll be under that soon.
So we have men's 100 free to go. Oh, hold on. Louisa Stoddart there, in fact, it was 1:00:21 coming up on the board there, so I missed that. Swimmer in lane 5, just touching out Lauren Turnbull at the end there. So Bruce Halloran at East Lothian, I think, would be pretty happy with that. Came in on a 1:00.5.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that for sure.
So men's 100 freestyle now finishes off the afternoon session. Before we get to the distance events, of course, just that little bonus extra.
Yep.
5 swimmers here, and we've certainly got our wild card going here in lane 2, Nikos Antanos of Greece.
Nice.
So expect a big swim, I would think, from him here. I can't believe the 58 is the best he's capable of. I think this could be quite a bit faster than that.
He certainly started off with a big, high, strong stroke rate and tempo, and he's through here very quick in 25.65. Could be looking at a 50, 52 probably.
Joshua Aspinall, Jamie Ferguson, Alex Thompson and Matthew Hunt, the other 4, but this is about Nikos here. He's looking at the A final 52.25, B final 53.20. Let's see what we're going to get here. He's going to be just around that B final mark, just outside it, 53.46, but certainly I thought that 58 was highly suspect from Nikos there. Clearly not his core event, but a classy swimmer like him, he was always going to be a lot faster than 58, and he showed that there. Jamie Ferguson second, Alex Thompson taking third. Nice swim from Jamie Ferguson there, 57.23, he'll be happy with that. Second inside his entry time. On to heat 2. To lane in 0. So we have Ethan Brown in 1, Max Hagan in 2, Ethan Jones in 3, Lewis Condy in 4, Luke Jackson in 5, Craig McDonald in 6, Murray Pritchard in 7, Cian McNellis in 8 and Thomas Coates in 9.
Yeah, again, a very tight field. Busy afternoon for Max Hagan. He's been in the fly already and now in the free. Maybe more used to seeing him swimming the breaststroke these days, but taking it out there's Luke from Cockermouth.
Yeah, but tight in the centre lanes between Luke in the yellow cap and beside him Lewis Condy of the University of Stirling and others not far away. There's about 6 of them within a half a metre or so. Who's going to get the touch maybe lane 3. 57.37 it is lane 3, Ethan Jones of Winsford.
He changed in that last 5 into that straight arm stroke, which is a sort of trademark thing that we've seen from Duncan over these last few years. Duncan Scott obviously is well known for changing the stroke in that last 10, so I wonder if he's picked that up from there.
So do they do that just to position themselves for the touch, or is that what it's about, or what's the logic?
Yeah, I think obviously spotting the finish, but then also trying to maintain momentum in that last 10 metres when everything's burning.
So on to heat 3, Max Upton, Sam Moore, Brendan Johnson, Lewis McKean, Cole Hewitt, Finn Bremner, Liam Harkin, Ryan Duncan, Daniel Saunders, and in lane 9, Matej Bartos. Cracking start in 4 from Cole Hewitt. Another one who's had a very busy weekend. He's had a lot of swims, Cole. 26.26 is none too shabby. Difficult to see anybody getting to him in the second half here. Lewis McKean will have a go though. He is coming back a little bit. Also another lane 0 fast swim, Max Upton of Billingham. But it is going to be Cole, the Sheffield man. Never threatened. 55.15. That's another big improvement for the 17-year-old.
A cracking swim there, and I'm sure Mike and the rest of the guys at Sheffield will be delighted with that one.
Yes, they certainly will. That was a very good swim from Cole there. Lewis McKean second. Heat 4. Yusuf Batut in 0. Duncan Young in 1. James Riley in 2. Nathan Whiffen in 3. Fraser Kelly in 4. Samuel Naylor in 5. Jason English in 6. Ross Neely in 7. Jack Milne in 8. And Evan Clark in 9.
A great start here from lane 0. We were just beginning to slightly caught, but cracking first 15.
All pretty tight though as they come to the wall, and it's lane 4, Fraser Kelly of North Ayrshire just leading the way, 26.99, not as fast as we saw from Cole Hewitt, but still right up there. Yusuf Batut up in lane 0, and they all come tanking their way towards our cameraman, who has to watch out here. He's going to get wet, I think. Hope he's insured his equipment as they come in. Oh, he got that camera up just in time as they all came in, led by Yusuf Batut. 55.80 for him. That's a very handy improvement on a 57.4 entry time. Fraser Kelly second, just 500 ahead of Nathan Whiffen, and Evan Clark right there as well.
I guess always an event you want to stick your hat in. There's really teams and all sorts for the club, but you want to make sure you've got a good time on the board so you're considered for them.
Line up for heat number 5. Michael Flynn, Jamie Claxton, Marius Kringelis, Maximilian Bolcato, Liam Eccleston, Ethan Horn, Alex Beveridge, Archie Minto, Jay Manners and Casper Luzak. So it's Max in lane 3. Taking it out, but maybe now lane 7. In fact, no swimmer in lane 8. Archie Minto, 27.04, but just ahead of him, Max Volcato, 26.94.
Max obviously breathing away to the opposite side, so he might not be aware that the rest of the race is coming back a little bit here, but I think he's got enough to hold on here.
Yeah, it certainly looks very powerful stroke for Max, 17-year-old from Oxford, and he's going to win it by about a body length from a line of swimmers behind him. 55.87, very similar time to the previous heat. So another very nice improvement into 56.64. Of course, with all these tenths knocked off just to get yourself up that pecking order,
yep,
could be important that for him.
Hundredth count.
56.63 for Archie Minto, Ethan Horn 56.72, second and third. On to heat number 6. Up here, Aaron Beckford of Derwentsside, Ryan Shaw of Newcastle, Conor Massey of City of Glasgow, Sam Sally of City of Sheffield, Jamie Easton at University of Aberdeen, Ben Ferguson of South Aberdeenshire, two East Lothian swimmers, Sean Craigmile and Stephen Kravis, Oscar Heald of Edinburgh University and Felix Hale of Inverleith. Turning together in the centre lanes, Jamie Easton and Ben Ferguson, so an Aberdeenshire battle at the moment.
Another very impressive turn there by the young lad Stefan Kravic in lane 7.
And up at the top of your screen, Aaron Beckford, Ryan Chow and Conor Massey really working hard as well, but it does look like it's Ben Ferguson in lane 5 who is going to bring this one home by about a metre. Well, time coming up 55.42. Seemed a little slow coming up because that might have just been the network rather than a slow time. Conor Massey second and Stephen Kravis third. So good half-second improvement for Ben there. As we go to heat 7. Adam Strickland, Yasin O'Neill, Tom Brummel, Benjamin Winterburn, Patrick Bajrami, Keir Buchanan, Tim Sverchek, Chap Munsey, Fraser Wilson and Ben Smith. Mid-55s the entry times here.
Again, not much to split them here as they all go down pretty much on a line through this first 25. Maybe just the boy from Derwentsside with the advantage here.
Yeah, in lane 4, normally wear white caps Derwentsside, but black cap this time, 26.47. Again, we're in the range that we've been at for the splits for the last few heats, all in the 26s. And it is still Patrick. In fact, no, Ben Winterburn, I think, might just have the edge on him. It's between the two of them, really tight as they come in. Well, let's see, nothing coming up on our screen, but it looks like it's Bajrami by a tenth, 55.13. Winterburn 55.23. Keir Buchanan third, 55.96. Heat 8. Ellis Clayworth of City of Liverpool in 0, Ryan Robertson of City of Glasgow in 1, Ryan Ferguson of First in 2, Aaron Stowe of Finns in 3, Logan Easton of Stirling Swimming in 4, Jack Green of Edinburgh University in 5, Tom Ward of Borough Stockton in 6, Warren does Jamie MacDonald in 7 and Zach Logue from the City of Sunderland in 9. Well, again, we're in the 26 mid-range at the turn. Not seeing much progression from heat to heat, which is perhaps a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, we'd maybe want to see some boys beginning to get into the 54, 53s and look to challenge for some of the junior places and maybe even the B final.
So cameraman slightly drunken down the pool there, but we just got back to the main camera to see Jamie MacDonald taking the win in 55.19 from Logan Easton, 55.32, and Ryan Ferguson by 100th from Zach Logue, 56.01. And we're talking about getting them to 54s, but I mean that was an improvement on his entry time for Jamie, so a couple of tenths, so can't knock that.
No, absolutely. This last heat looks like it'll be very competitive as well, with most of the heat in a 54 entry, so we could see these boys challenge for the junior and B finals.
Matthew Sylvester, Cameron Allison, Lewis Hammond, Rory McKinnon, Daniel Ferguson, Thomas English, Lucas Brenner, Joe Ratuli, Elliot Miller and Cameron Bilsland. There's the lineup here. white cap in lane 5, Chestnut Street's Thomas English. Just with the edge, but not by very much at all, from Lucas Brenner and Joe Ratuli. 26 dead. So that is our fastest split. Strong off the wall as well, Thomas there. Rory McKinnon, who's had some good swims this weekend, and Matthew Sylvester up at the top of the screen. Not far away. Also a big push late on coming in from Joe Ratuli. I think we got the right one on the camera there. Thomas English, 54.32 for the win. We were looking for something in the 54s, and they delivered for you, Matt.
Yep, they're all improving on their entry times, so yeah, that's great as well.
So looking at that time, I think we might just see that it's going to be, I think, good for a juniors final swim. 54.32. So 2 distance events to finish off on. Women's 1500 freestyle will be first up, as I said at the top of the session. Just the one heat here. We've had 3 or 4 heats when they've swum the other way round, the women's 8 and the men's 15, but I guess there's still fewer swimmers doing the flip side than so for these women, fewer do the 1500 compared with the 800.
Yeah, and again, I guess it's only come into the calendar this year, hasn't it? So it might be over the next couple of seasons we get to see it more, but excited to see what these guys can do here. I think it could be a good battle on these centre lanes.
Certainly have some strong performers in this one. Looking at the lineup, we have Dorothy Goodgame, City of Oxford in 0, Elise McQueenie, City of Glasgow in 1, Jessica Arundale from Barnet in 2, lane 3, Michelle Mortensen from the Danish junior team. Then we have the Greek swimmer Calliope Aruzu in lane 4, winner of the 800 last night. Nicole Ryan of City of Oxford in 5, Katie Shanahan, City of Glasgow in 6, Lauren Mew goes for Barnet in 7, Olivia Mason of Warrender in 8, and Scarlett Aspinall of Southport in lane 9. So Aruzu, you would think, would be the fancied one here, the Greek swimmer. The Greeks have looked very strong on distance events, with, as I said, Aruzu winning the 800, and we'll see shortly Dimitrios Negris, who was very, very strong indeed in the 1500. At the moment, he's that standing as the top male performer of this meet, subject of course to what happens tonight.
That was a fantastic swim, that 1500 on day 1.
So lanes 4 and 5 taking it out, Aruzu and Ryan. Nicole Ryan, no mug at this one as well, the British Universities champion. So it'll be interesting to see whether she can stay at all close to the Greek swimmer. Just 3/10 back at the 150.
Yeah, and I'll be just about conserving energy over this first 500 so you can start to build on that second 500 and start to make a move.
Is that the way most swimmers think about it, chopping up into 3 500s sections? You don't know about these things, do you? What am I doing here with this man who doesn't know a first thing about distance swimming?
It's about 1,300 metres too far.
2:13.76, half a second gap for Calliope. So Nicole at the moment is there or thereabouts. In third place, Michelle Mortensen. So we've got Greek swimmer, an English swimmer, and a Danish swimmer. A 1, 2, 3. Then we've got a Scottish swimmer, Katie Shanahan. So
Katie looks very controlled here, so I would expect to see her move it on further into the race.
she has some form in 800 freestyle. I'm not sure I've ever seen her do a 1500 before, so it'll be interesting to see what she can do on that.
The Greek swimmer is holding a stroke rate of about 42 over this first 300.
So for us lesser mortals, explain what you mean by that.
Well, she's just rating it roughly around about 42 cycles per minute in her stroke rate, and I guess that's probably one of the key things for these distance guys is to settle into a tempo and try and maintain that tempo as they go through the race, and probably building it towards the end.
And would you expect her to keep that tempo going throughout and then just maybe pick it up at the end, or will she have to increase the tempo because as she gets more tired there's less power in the strokes and therefore compensate by increasing the tempo?
Yeah, I would imagine it'll probably stay quite similar, or maybe just increase, but only marginally, maybe to maybe 42, 48. If it starts at 42, maybe go up 44, maybe the last 100, 46 something, but I would expect it for someone with this experienced, it'll probably be quite even throughout.
So she's gradually building the lead over Nicole Ryan now. It's up to 4 metres or so. So they go through 400, 4:27.74. So she's looking at 66.6 or thereabouts for 100 splits. I've noticed when I've been commentating with coaches always think in 50s, and I always think in hundreds in these distance events.
Yeah, probably I'll think it even higher. But yeah, no, I'll be interested to see what she goes through 500 in, and then whether she picks it up.
5:00 and 5:05, so just over 4 seconds the gap. And really stretching out behind her as well. You can just see there at the top of the screen the white cap of the Dane, Michelle Mortensen, turning in 5:12, so 7 seconds behind Nicole Ryan. This is where it gets tough for our camera crew to try and keep as many swimmers as possible in shot. Just about keep 2 in at the moment. And as we get a wider view through the turns, you can see there Michelle coming down towards her turn, and then quite a long way back there you can see Katie Shanahan going down as the others go, followed by Olivia Mason there in lane 8, looks to be the next best, and then there's a group of 3 swimmers all fairly close.
And over that first 500, just looking at last year's meet record held by Nikki Miller in 17:29, that could be massively under threat here.
6:07, so the lead now over 7 seconds, and this will be pretty relentless, I would think, now from Calliope. She's just going to drive it on and on through this race. She did her event at the Greek Olympic pool. Not quite sure what the event was, a bit of a mystery to me. Greek main events.
Yeah, she's still holding 66 zeros. The Greek coach looks pretty happy there in shot.
So what does that mean? The hands up in the air like that. All good so far?
It would appear that way.
It has been great having the Greek team. You've been obviously on international teams, Matt, and in this lead up to the World Championships, what will they be doing with their swimmers, do you think? We've got Murray Nostrum coming up. Would they like to be going there and
I
then
guess
into camp, or how will it work?
I'd imagine they'll be looking at a couple of key race opportunities now, where they, especially some of the distance events they can get a challenging race, and then probably be looking at a holding camp. They may even into Worlds this year be looking at a holding camp somewhere in Japan, so they can replicate what obviously they'll be looking at doing next year into the Olympic cycle.
Yeah, that's a good point with 2 major events in the next 2 years in the Far East. Because we're going morning finals.
Yeah, morning finals in the Olympics. So
Yep.
again, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people will be looking to adapt their training over this next year and a half to make sure they're fully ready for that.
But the World Championships is
That's still evening.
it's still evening finals in Korea, so it'll be setting the alarm to get up early to watch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see as we go into the second half now. Calliope, is she maintaining that pace? 8:51.74. So the answer is yes, she is. Just sub 66.
This is really a very impressive swim, holding 66s on your own, which just yourself and the clock.
Yes, it's becomes a mental thing as well, I would think, as well at this stage, because you've got a lot of time to be thinking about things as you are keeping this going, and it'd be very easy for your mind just to stray a little bit, and you've got to not let that happen.
Yeah, and obviously there's massive fatigue. It sets in across the course of the race, so she's doing a great job here maintaining the stroke and the tempo, and again just keeping on these 56s.
Yep, that's a 66.1 that time. There's quite a lot of leg action going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, she's really sort of brought that in. She's brought her stroke rate up to 45, so she has increased it over this 500 here. I guess we'll find out at the end of this one whether she is descending 500s.
So starting to lap now. That's not that these other swimmers are shabby at all, it's just the class of the Greek lady. You can see the amount of lead now as she went past Nicole Ryan. So for the first couple of hundreds they were pretty close, but now there's a lot of pool between them. So Nicole just turning now as we see the Calliope going through that 50 marker, so she was about 35 to 40 metres up. 11:04.10.
Yeah, so that
Slightly slipping. So, I mean, we're talking tenths.
yeah. Yeah, so 5:30. Yeah, no. 5:34, 5:30. That one is that right?
So into the final 500 now.
It does look like
50 to go.
we're going to see a huge meet record here. It's currently standing at 17:29, so
Yes, Nicky Miller from Eastkill Pride has been out in America for the last couple of years and then come back to do some training with the University of Stirling in the summer and other holiday times. But, she's not here this year. But Calliope very much is. And she goes through in 12:10.53. 60.4 that time, so we just asked, well, losing a tenth or so each 100 now, and that must be the tiredness starting to set in now. And we've got a change in
coach is going for a wind up now, so he's wanting a little bit more.
yeah, certainly looked that way, didn't it?
he'll just be doing anything now to try and keep her on the pace. Again, when she's all out on her own, she'll probably need a little bit of help and support from her team.
Yes, it's a lonely old business. There's 1500 freestyle. You're out there a long way clean. See the passing Nicole there as they went from the halfway markers. So now a 50-meter lead pretty much for Calliope. She goes through the 1200, 13:16:74. Got the pace back again. That was a 60.2, so got a couple of tenths back. Maybe with the sign there again, you've got that windmill action from the Greek coach.
And a good whistle, but maybe not as good as Byron's from South Ayrshire.
So she'll get that because obviously she is breathing on that side. She will have seen her coach there and certainly will have heard him as well.
Yep.
So a chance to, I think, now look at what sort of time she's going to come in. Sort of 16. Just over 16:30 maybe. Entry time 16:35, so she must be right up there. 200 to go.
Yeah, if she holds that 66 pace, then it'll be in and around that entry time of 2:35. Hopefully she can maybe pick it up over this last 200. That'd be pretty special to take a minute off that meet record.
Yeah, so this is mightily impressive, and we talked about it being easier to get these in-season best times in the sprints, but to do it in a 1500, if she is to do it, and it looks like she might, would be very, very promising for the summer, you would think.
Yeah, and it's whether, I guess, she's maybe looking at this meet as a qualifier or for something, or
Yes, it is approved by FINA as a meet where you can pick up times for events to qualify for. Of course, you have to have a certain standard. It's not just about selection. You have to be of a sufficient standard to swim in the FINA World Championships. So the bell goes, 15:29.57. Back to a 60.4 there. Nearly a 6.5, but let's see what she can do now. There you see Katie Shannon in short. She'll be trying to avoid getting lapped here. In fourth spot, as we see Michelle Mortensen, who has picked up a little bit on Nicole Ryan in the latter stages here. And very much you can see now that Calliope is picking up her pace as she goes through the final turn. Legs going hard as we hear the bell for Nicole Reynolds and also for Michelle Mortensen, but it's going to be Calliope Aruzu. She won the 800 yesterday, and she is doubling up with a fine 1500 freestyle swim here, bringing it in a time of 16:34.49. So inside her entry time by half a second, and well, a remarkable swim, smashing the meet record of 17:29. And a very nice 800-1500 double from the Greek lady.
yeah, absolutely, and hopefully that sets her up for whatever our summer target meet is. But that certainly looks like it could be a meet record. It's on the books for a few years. Great swimming, and hopefully some of these youngsters now can come through and get a good time out of this as well.
So Nicole Ryan will be next home. She's coming now into her final 5 meters. And it's 17:22 for her. Michelle Mortensen will be third home in a time of 17:28.44. That's your top 3. Then Katie Shanahan will be next, I think. Don't see her just yet. We see as the swimmers come in. Here she comes into the final few metres. Looking a little weary. No great sprint finish there. But Katie, in fact, no time coming up for her at the moment. We'll probably need to get the backup time there. But that would have been a learning experience for Katie. As I said earlier, I don't remember her ever doing a 1500 before. Done the 800 a few times, but 1500 I guess is something rather different. We have a time up for her now, 17:47.69. And swimmers coming in here. This is tight, but it is Olivia Mason, 18:22. Entered 18:07. It's not quite on that pace. Lise McQueenie, 18:23. Say how hard it is to get best times in season in these longer events. In next is Laura Mew Barnett, 18:42. That's the Oxford swimmer next home, 18:49, and Jessica Arundel, 18:51.
And it's one of those events where if you're out by a tenth or each length, it all adds up over the 1500 metres. But great effort by all these girls this afternoon.
So one more swimmer to come in, Stockport's, Southport's Scarlett Aspinall. And she completes the proceedings in 1920. One more race to go, 800 free. And again, we would expect it to be dominated by a Greek swimmer, Demetrios Negris, with that fantastic 1500 on Friday night. So just checking he's there. He is. Are they all there? Just thinking there might be one swimmer missing, is there? Didn't see Kieran Thomas in lane 2. Confirm that when they get onto the blocks, but looks like he's missing. But certainly Demetrius is there. There is the line-up. That's 800 free. Can confirm there is no Kieran Thomas, so the line-up is Tom Jeffers of Perth City in 0, Marshall Illingworth of City of Glasgow in 1, Harley Beach of Edinburgh University in lane 3, Demetrios Negris of Greece in 4, Daniel Whiffen of Lisbon in 5, Arthur Ellegard of Denmark in 6, Liam McLaughlin of Warrender in 7, Angus Rutherford Hearts in 8, and Ryan Duncan of Valparaiso St Thomas in lane 9.
Similar to his teammate, he was 42 stroke cycles down the first length, and he's just settled into 39 here, so that opened up quite a big lead over the rest, over this first 100.
57.34, plays 2 in the low 59s, Harley and Daniel, 800ths apart. Whiffen of Lisburn in Northern Ireland is the Irish champion. Don't have any knowledge about Harley in the 800. Perhaps you could fill me in on that one.
Yeah, he's come to the university this year from Wigan. Again, a club that's been doing well here in the middle distance events, and he's doing very well with his coach Ross. Busy all day with the 400 free, 100 free, and the 800 all in one day. Tough one.
Character building.
Yes.
So, as we saw in the women's 1500, it is very much Demetrios Negris dominating here in the men's 800 through the 200 in 1:57.10.
Just holding under that minute marker.
Yep, that will be a good marker to keep our eye on. His entry time 7:58. You have the meet records there. Could you fill us in on what this one is?
This one's 8:11 and it's held by a Danish swimmer, Alexander Norgard.
Thank you very much. So 8:11, you would think, will be under threat here. If he keeps this sub-minute pace, then it certainly will.
Yeah.
Again, just under 30 seconds for that. 5:50. Within second, Ellegaard just ahead of Beach. For Ellegaard, part of this Danish junior team that have made quite an impact here this weekend. All of them, I think, going on to the European Juniors in the summer. Same is true for a good number of the Irish contingent that are here, and also have the likes of Archie Goodpinnacles in the British team.
Yeah, along with Emma Russell,
Yes,
a few other.
of course. Katie Shanahan as well is another one that we just saw. She's in that team.
It's all great preparation for these guys this week.
27 dead, so just a sign maybe that just slipping over the 30-point length there. Keep an eye as we come to the halfway mark. See what the actions we get down there at the side of the pool this time. We'll keep an eye on that when Dimitris comes back down the pool. It's a nice shot of him coming in into his turn there and quickly through it. 3:57.33. Pace has just slipped over 1 minute pace now, so we might be looking at something around the 8-minute mark, I think.
We've got the windmill going on down there, so the coach is obviously looking for a pick-up here.
Yeah, he's obviously a demanding coach here, looking for matching of best times here on a Sunday afternoon in Glasgow. But why wouldn't you? Of course, we have our very own Greek coach, don't we, here in Scotland?
Yep.
Kostas Kalitsis, great addition to the Warrender coaching team, and he's keeping an eye on his charge here, Liam McLaughlin.
Alongside, it seems a lot calmer. Just chilled out, arms on wrists and hips.
Yeah, that's him on the left of the Greek coach there in the black. Does look like Dimitris has picked it up a little bit. He's back closer to the 30 point. 5:27.65, pretty much bang on 30 point there.
Yeah, looks like he's just settled into that rhythm, and I mean, if he can be sub 8 minutes or even thereabout, that'd be a fantastic in-season swim, especially off that 1500 2 days ago.
That'll be, you'd have thought that'd be completely out of his system by now, wouldn't it? Or is there still remnants there?
I guess it's a good training again, obviously here, just the timings of the meets, it's a heat declared winner where it's maybe a little bit more replicable when he does both races to what he'll experience at World Championships, European Championships and so on.
Yes, so if you are going to make the World Championship final in the distance events, normally they have a day in between.
Yeah, so it's the heats, and then the following evening, the next day it's the
It's still quite a big ask, I guess, to do two 1500s with just maybe, 30 hours in between, something like that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he competed in the 400 this morning as well, or if it's just 800 he's going to do.
I don't remember him in the 400. So he's looking pretty good here. This will be the bell turn coming up now.
Just for reference, on Friday it was 8:03 at 800 on his way through the 1500.
6:58. 8.9. So again, just over the minute there. So his entry time 7:58.48. I think he'll probably be inside that, won't he, if he can do a sub-minute on his final 100.
Yeah, I mean, he came back in 59.3 in the 1500, so should be a little bit quicker with 700 metres
Yep.
less.
So if we did a 59.0, say, 7:28.92, so pretty much bang on the 30 there.
Yeah. See if he can beat that 28.9 from his 1500 return.
So another fantastic Greek lesson in distance swimming. You see just the bow wave that he's putting up there.
Yeah.
As he comes into the wall, hard into the wall, 7:57.84. Needless to say, another big meet record, another one that could stand for a good while, and 6/10 inside his entry time. Brilliant stuff there from the Greek swimmer. It's going to be lane 6, Arthur Ellegard coming in for second place, 8:22 for him. Inside his entry time as well by 3 seconds, so that's a good swim from the Dane. Daniel Whiffen takes third, 8:27.29. Harley Beach third, 8:33.43. As the final swimmers come in, that will just about wrap it up for us. Just a reminder that we will be on air earlier tonight compared with the last 2 days, so if you have been with us all 3 days, then if you need to come back to us half an hour earlier, at 4:30 we'll start racing. We'll be on air a little bit before that, and we hope to have your company there. But we just confirmed that result on that 800 freestyle, that magnificent swim there from Dimitris Negris, 7:57.84 to take the win from Arthur Ellegard and Daniel Whiffen. So thanks very much, Matt. It's been a delight to be with you for the last couple of hours. And we wish you the best of luck with your team in this evening's finals.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me. And it was a lesson to watch some 1500s and 800s there at the end, so that was great. Thank you very much.
Yes, and so for now, from Tollcross International Swimming Centre, I'm Duncan McKinnon.